Hello and welcome back to Between the Stars. My name is Spanj. We're heading to Comadja, the HQ of the Republic. We're going to report on our activities of the last episode, if you remember. We kind of made friends with the SMC, kind of agreed to join the war, conditionally, and then obviously we went and satisfied that condition at the end of the last episode. So now we're going back to Mason
requesting
to report.
landing permission.
Please hold, Captain.
Whoa, Bradley, I see you've recovered. It's a shame. I thought we'd never have to see each other again.
You won't run that kind of luck. It takes more than a few scouts to kill Jesse Bradley. Permission granted. Please go to the assigned coordinates. Admiral Mason is waiting for us.
Us. Interesting. Okay. The crew begins to prepare the ship for landing at the headquarters, and for the first time in quite some time you feel relieved. These last few weeks had been especially stressful, but it seemed that everything had ended well. Not only had the SMC accepted the alliance to wipe out the Children of the Sun, but Bradley seemed to have recovered. Though not definitive, a sweet taste of victory gave you a glimpse of hope. You leave the ship after checking Patrick's condition. There was no doubt that he was a tough kid. His wounds healed at a good pace, and with the medical team in the headquarters, it would only take a few days for him to be fully recovered again. You send some of your crew to take the recruit to the medical center, and you get off the ship. Leaving the landing platform, you're surprised to see Bradley fully recovered. He certainly looked much better than when your crew took him to the medical center on the verge of death. I'm glad to see you recovered, Bradley. I'm sorry about what happened. I'm not sorry about what happened. It wasn't my fault. I got nothing to apologize. I'm glad to see you recovered. Come on, the Defiant. Don't make this any more uncomfortable than it already is. I owe you my life. That day, you wiped out the enemies and came back for me and my crew after how we have behaved with you. I apologize for the way I have treated you. You have proven yourselves to be the most reliable person in the facility after the Admiral. What am I trying to say? Well, you know, thanks for saving my life. He was absolutely right. He had been very uncomfortable. You had never heard Bradley say a few kind words, and it was strange that they were directed at you. When I woke up, the Admiral was furious. After yelling at me for hours, she put me in the control room for a while. She says that the only way I'll learn my lesson, but I know she's done it to give me some recovery time. Sometimes I think she's too benevolent. We don't want any captain scratching his ship on landing. Bradley smiles mockingly. Come on, the Admiral's waiting for us. Together you go to the command room where Mason awaits you. The gate servo motors roar as they open, and you see the Admiral leading the team as they send messages one after another. Mason sees you and heads towards you. I've been waiting for you, captains. We have a problem. It was all too nice to be true. You knew the tranquility wouldn't last long. Sooner or later, the Children of the Sun would make a move after the capture of Artemis Hub. Now Nartos had been defeated for the first time, and he knew that the alliance between the Republic and the SMC was more dangerous than ever. The SMC has given us complete control after their intervention. Both their fleet and ours will fight together to recover the lost sectors, all thanks to you. The attack on Artemis Hub was splendid. Bradley, not thoughtfully. What is it then, Admiral? That Nartos withdrew the troops protecting the hub was no coincidence. We do not know what their target is, but we have been informed of the advance of the enemy ships to the Dome. The Dome? The Dome is the largest prison in the Interstellar Republic, controlled by Commander Thompson. It is a fortress where the worst criminals in the galaxy are guarded, a bottomless pit where to bury individuals so savage that their mere existence poses a complete risk to society. Do we know what he's looking for? Nartos has lost countless men in combat, leaving aside the mercenary clans of Equinians who would never join forces with the Children of the Sun. The Dome seems their best option. In it are confined hundreds of his men, plus all the prisoners who would not hesitate to kill us, their captors, at the earliest possible opportunity. Now that we know, can we take advantage of it? I doubt it. I hate to admit it, but Nartos is a pragmatic man, attempting to attack us in our own headquarters. Despite the advantage it would give us, it is not his style. He wants us to know that his intentions are to get us out. Every man he manages to get outside our control zone opens the doors of the headquarters a little more for him. That did sound like Nartos. Killing two birds with one stone. The protection of the Dome would make your army split up to leave in open space, where the children could hunt you down. Although the prison of the Republic was armed to the teeth to avoid assaults, it had never had to face an entire army. Not standing reinforcements ensured their victory, and sending them put you at a disadvantage. We can only respond to the attack. We'll have to take them down. He doesn't leave us with many choices. We'll have to take them down. If Natos had the capacity to assault the headquarters, he would have done it immediately. He may think he's got the hang of the situation, but he hasn't beaten us yet. With the SMC alliance, we will protect the dome and prevent its men from releasing the inmates. You were right. Before arriving at the station, they would have to defeat your ships and the prison's defense systems. However you look at it, the only possible alternative was to use the attack to inflict as much damage as possible on the enemy. We still have some time. We will plan the defenses and put a fleet at your disposal to stop them. If Natos wants to play, we'll show him our best cards. At your command, Admiral. Okay. Nothing else on this planet to do, I don't think. No other glowy dots. No. Okay. Interesting. The prison. Several days have passed since your arrival. The SMC fleet had been summoned to the dome and were already waiting for the arrival of the Republic ships in the area. Once all the preparations have been made, Bradley and you will lead this fleet to the prison where you would meet Commander Thompson. As soon as the soldiers were ready, all that remained was to wait until the assault on the children took place. Taking advantage of the facilities of the headquarters, you continue instructing Patrick. The young man seemed much better and was ready to return to his post within the crew. On the contrary, Bradley seemed to me much worse than he had assured during these days. Although he didn't look bad, you could see him on the training camp. He was still struggling with his injuries. He tried very hard to hide it, but he was clearly still affected by the accident. You wish he had made more time to recover, but you had no such privilege. Bradley would have to manage as best he could. Time to go. All right.
Head towards the dome, May.
The
Captain,
dome!
If it's because of what happened on that planet, I assure you it wasn't my intention. My interest in the local culture was merely academic.
We talked about this, May. You pretended to be their god and forced them to worship you for weeks. You completely lost control.
It was part of my plan to rescue you.
You wanted the chief of the tribe to sacrifice his firstborn.
May's awesome. Right. Rel Hot Me. Great name for a player. Rel Hot Me. Main mission, towards the dome. Let's go!
We've been waiting for you, Captain. The SMC fleet arrived several days ago, and the soldiers are waiting for you along with the 2 captains under your orders.
Okie dokie.
Captain's under my orders?
Captain Burrows and Captain Dunn have informed me that they fought under your command at Artemis Hub.
They did.
I led the attack provisionally, but they aren't under my command.
Well, maybe they like me. Who knows? Okay, I assume we've got a dock then at the station to meet with the SMC smug-gittedness. We're going to have to bring the ship about. Let's get docked and see what they want. You dock the ships and disembark. The assigned SMC fleet, by order of Admiral Ryzen, had already been at the station for several days. You had to find Commander Thompson and gather the captains to prepare the defense of the prison. You advance along the great corridor until you reach the gates guarded by a few armed guards who let you pass immediately. The gigantic hall impresses you. The columns support several dozen walkways that surround the enclosure. These are used to access the upper levels. In the middle of the structure formed by the corridors, you can contemplate an immense transparent dome located at the top of the room. Commander Thompson. Wonderful, isn't it? I've always found the main hall impressive. It's funny, most of our new inmates don't even notice it when they come in, but if in a few weeks they'd give anything to see a glimpse of it. Are there no more views to the outside of the prison? Thompson contains laughter, and you assume that's a no. You feel a chill. Long stays on a ship could be really overwhelming. Despite the space and views of the galaxy, you couldn't ever even imagine what life would be like in a 2x2 meter grey room. The prison guards have already taken up positions, Captain. The SMC captains are waiting for you along with the other 2 captains this way. You go up several floors before leaving the main zone through one of the corridors. The commander leads you through convoluted corridors that look exactly the same to you until you end up in a huge gate that opens in your path. That was to be one of the prison's control rooms, an enormous space full of monitors where more than 20 men gave instructions by radio while they stared at the screens placed in front of them. Farther away, the monitors, you see a group of men talking to each other. Among them, you clearly distinguish Captain Burrow and Dunn. It's good to see you again, Captain. was starting to worry. He thought they may have intercepted you. Don't listen to him, Captain. Burroughs has been unbearable for 2 days. I suggest to Major Thompson that we lock him in a cell until the attack. You can't imagine the look on her face. That woman has no sense of humour. I'm glad to see you both safe and sound. You back to the group that watches you expectantly, waiting for your orders. You raise your voice. Nartos' attack will not be long in coming, but we will not let them catch us with our guard down. The squadrons will take defensive positions and will guard the docking bridges at all times. No one will leave their post until the relieving units are in position. At the slightest notice, I want a full report. If anyone or anything enters the area, even a speck of dust, I want to know right away. To your posts! Well, that was fun. Seems like I could have communicated that over the radio. I had to go all the way into the station to do it. 2 days had already passed since the deployment of the fleet in the dome, and the fact that it has been so long since the warning of the enemy advance made you particularly nervous. Although waiting would have allowed you to strengthen your defences and distribute the guard ships more efficiently, you would have preferred an improvised attack 1,000 times. The fact that Nartos was being so calm for the siege meant no good. Patrick Jackson says, "Are you alright, Captain? You've been very quiet for a while." Ruman Holloway says he's worried. Jackson, the Children of the Sun are not especially renowned for their cautiousness. Something's wrong. Don't answer. Holloway was right. Since your arrival, you felt a sense of imminent danger. Nartos might attempt a frontal attack to board the station, but that minimized his chances of success. Perhaps infiltrated agents? It was unlikely. After Darrell Flynn's betrayal, every person close to him had been investigated carefully, and all higher charges had gone through Admiral Mason's exhaustive filter to prevent further betrayals. You had a hard time believing that any of the guards could sell you out. After meeting with Thompson and her men, it was clear how much respect and admiration they had for her. To be honest, it was not simply a matter of trust. All the soldiers assigned to protect the dome were nearly as much a prisoner of it as the inmates themselves. Those men resided in the prison itself, day and night, watching over the security of the enclosure at all times, so they were inaccessible to the children. Even if the remote possibility had been given that Nartos had contacted any of them, the prison complex camera system would have captured evidence. It's impossible for the guards not to be hired by Nartos. It's a possibility we can't rule out. I think, actually, you keep thinking about it compulsively. The prison cameras were monitored by no less than 30 men who watched the immobilized inmates at all times. What risk could a chained, isolated man present inside the safest cell in the galaxy? Many of the prisoners were Children of the Sun, convicted of various crimes against the Republic, but it was impossible for them to carry out any kind of riot. The prisoners never crossed each other, and in the few moments when they are not immobilized, several guards armed to the teeth were keeping an eye on them. You were close to the solution. Leaving the infiltrated agents aside, the only thing out of your control were the inmates, but it was absolutely impossible for them to communicate with the outside world, being watched at all times without any kind of guidance. They could not know Nartos' plan, or anything about what was happening in the dome. Jackson, what do you know about the dome? The recruit looks at you surprised. The dome is the largest space prison in the Interstellar Republic, designed for prisoners under high security conditions. Some call it the Dome of Bones because of the popular belief that it is orbited by the remains of the corpses of the former prisoners, which the guards throw away through the garbage extractors. Wait a minute, you don't think the children can get access through them, right? Not at all. The whole system is guarded. Do you know when it was founded? Stardate 5577.684 on the 20th anniversary of the alliance between the Interstellar Republic and the Children of the Sun. The commander appears behind you, joining the conversation. Exactly. Thompson says, for years, the Children of the Sun guarded the dome next to the Interstellar Republic. When Nartos declared war on Tacit Stella, the problems began. On that day, many of the children's units had already departed for the Space Summit, and the few that remained soon left the prison hours before the attack. It seems that Nartos had everything well planned. The Children of the Sun must have been preparing the attack for decades. One moment. Commander, what kind of control did the inmates go through on entry? When the inmates arrive at the dome, his clothes and personal belongings items are seized. Doctors perform an X-ray inspection to ensure that no contraband is smuggled into the prison. And once they are confirmed clean, the inmates undergo a health check, in which further tests and examination are conducted to confirm that he or she does not have any serious contagious diseases. Are medical tests maintained after admission? Of course, less exhaustively though. Immobilization inside the cells completely prevents any suspicious activity. Could the medical team intentionally falsify the results? I suppose that would be possible, even though the medical team works together. Only if everyone was willing to do that, they would be able to bypass the system. In any case, why would doctors help inmates? Has there been a medical team formed by the Children of the Sun? Thompson starts to look worried, and with good reason. With our security, the registers are nothing more than a mere formality. It would depend on the doctor's guards. But it's more than likely that at some point, the 3 doctors in charge of the tests have agreed. Thompson's face is discompunced. There's so many weird words. But is gradually relieved. I think we've been up too long, Captain. Even if the Children of the Sun introduced inmates with some kind of weapon, they would not be sure that their men would be there to take care of them. And even if it was the doctors themselves who were in charge of introducing whatever it is that is you're thinking of to the inmates, it would not take long for the alarm to be raised among the forced inmates, unless the inmate is one of them. The sound of explosion floods the main room, which is shaken with energy. As you cover yourself, you open your eyes, surprised, and quickly see the chaos that has been generated. In the midst of the confusion, some guards climb up the gangways towards the detonation zone when you hear Thompson's transmitter. Commander, 2 of the prisoners have blown up. We've lost the signal from several cells in the G block. Still stunned, you hear a voice coming from your communicator. Between the sound of the screams of the troops running from one side to the other with a beep in your ears, you can hear Bradley's voice. Captain, come in. The Children of the Sun have reached the sector. We need reinforcements. Get up. It takes you a few seconds to assimilate the situation. You look at Thompson, who is motionless in front of you, completely devastated. You advance to her quickly. You need her to keep a cool head. She was the person who best knew the prison and its defenses. She had to remain in command of the guards while the fleet repelled the children. You barely advance 2 steps when another detonation shakes you. Commander, gather the troops and protect the entrances. That Nartos had everything thoroughly planned before the attack on Tacit Stella didn't surprise you, but using the lives of his own men prisoners in the dome as mere explosives was a limit you thought he wouldn't exceed. All squadrons take off immediately. The soldiers of the station will have to deal with this alone. Stay as far away from the prisoners' quarters as you can. Don't allow any of the Children of the Sun to disembark. Thompson comes to her senses. Miles, Herrera, I want your squadrons immediately on the upper floors. All troops to battle stations. No one will escape the dome under my command. Crew, let's go. We will repel the ships from the outside.
Hold your positions. Reinforcements will arrive immediately.
What happened? Why weren't you responding to our communications?
All right.
Nardos infiltrated Children of the Sun as inmates before the attack on Tacit Stella. That coward is blowing up his own men to dead our defenses.
God damn it! Captains, full power to weapons!
That is a lot of Children of the Sun ships. Holy crap, that is a lot of ships. Wow, where do we even begin?
Captain, I'm picking up signs of a destroyer about to jump.
Nardos' ship is coming into the area. Stay away. We can't beat him one by one. If we want to get him, we must finish off the support ships first.
May the light of the fallen lead you to victory. Do not let the sacrifice of your brothers be in vain.
Nardos, I'll make you pay for what you've done. They were your own men.
To die for the children's is the greatest of honors, Captain. They will be remembered as heroes.
They can't hold us back. The Children of the Sun will burn the Republic to ashes.
I don't know where the ship I was shooting at has gone.
Nothing but puppets at the mercy of Nardos.
The Emperor controls the universe. We would gladly die under his orders.
I need to start thinning these guys out. Damn it! You've overloaded my weapons. Is that Nartos' ship there? That big angry thing looking there. Is he coming for me? Is that what he's chasing me? I think we just need to kind of stay alive at the moment. I don't think really there's any...
The Interstellar Republic will hunt you down, Nardos. We'll never let a monster like you take over the universe.
You no longer have power over the Children of the Sun, Captain. We will submit you to the last.
Damn, the frames are struggling, man. The game is like, this is the biggest battle we've been in so far. I think we are about to go for a full kind of broadside with this ship here. I'm going to use my special ability, unload all my weapons onto that side of that thing. I think that is Nartos' ship. We just took it down 10% with that one burst of weapon fire. Weapons are back online again. I'm taking some plasma artillery.
Captain, one of the docks is down. The Children of the Sun are breaching our defenses.
What's the status of the rest of the docking bridges?
They are at their limit. I have directed all units I have been able to contact to recover the lost bridge, but they cannot retreat from their position without the Children seizing it.
There's too many of them. We can't stop their advance.
I thought I had my special ability loaded then, but I did not. I've just overheated my weapons again. There goes that guy.
Victory is near, brothers. Hundreds of the Children of the Sun have lived captive by the Republic in that gigantic cage. Break your shackles and shatter their will. May the sun light their way.
Captain, the children's ships are disembarking. Commander Thompson needs you at the station.
Whoa!
There's too many of them, Bradley. Abandoning our position
Taking hits from above.
Don't worry about me, Captain. My men and I will handle it. We can give you a few minutes of cover. Make sure
Rear
you
shields are
make them
down.
pay.
Copy that, Bradley. On my way to the station. Thompson, we're on our way to your position. What's the nearest cleared dock?
Taking a lot of fire.
Accesses are blocked, Captain. The Children of the Sun won't let you near it. It's absolutely impossible.
Did you hear that, mate? Thompson thinks this is insane.
Maybe it is Republicans, my friends, Captain. Fasten your seatbelts.
Now that's what I wanted to hear. Engines at full power.
All right. I am taking a lot of hull damage right now. Shields are recharging. Guys like this keep fucking trying to shoot me down. Right, where's that dock? Dock 12 is over there. Holy crap. I've got to try and navigate to Dock 12 in all of this? Are you mad? Absolute insanity. Just collided with another ship. They're blocking me. There it is. I'm in. I'm taking huge amounts of damage. My ship will not survive this. No. I've just exploded. The ship has just exploded. That was it. It's ridiculous. Oh no, we're gonna have to do that again now. Oh boy. Yeah, when you die, the game throws you back quite far, basically to the last sort of autosave location. In this case, right back when we jumped into the sector. So yeah, maybe when we get to that point in the game next time, we don't just charge straight for the gate and assume we're invulnerable when we dock. It's not the case. So this time, I've seemed to have focused a lot of my fire on Nartos' ship. I got it down to like 8%, now at 5%. I've got its rear shields down and just hammering his engines. My hull is not looking too brilliant this time either, to be honest. It's down at 30%. I wonder what happens if I can get his ship down. That's what I'm wondering.
The Interstellar Republic will hunt you down, Nardos. We'll never let a monster like you take over the universe.
I'm not sure if his shields or his hull is actually going to drop below 5%.
We will submit you to the last.
Oh yeah, 4%. Oh, starting to get attention from something else right now.
May the sun light their way.
I don't
Captain,
think we
the
can get it
children's
under
ships are
2%.
disembarking. Commander Thompson needs you at the station.
There's too many of them, Bradley. Abandoning our position would expose you.
Don't worry about me, Captain. My men and I will handle it. We can give you a few minutes of cover. Make sure you make them pay.
Copy that, Bradley. On my way to the station. Thompson, we're on our way to your position. What's the nearest cleared dock?
All accesses are blocked, Captain. The Children of the Sun won't let you near it. It's absolutely impossible.
Did you hear that, May? Thompson thinks this is insane.
Maybe it is for carbon-based life forms, Captain. Fasten your seatbelts.
Now that's what I wanted to hear. Engines at full power.
So yeah, I got Nartos' ship down to 2%. I can't get it any lower than that. So I think it is indestructible, which is a shame because it'd be interesting to see, you know, an adaptive story where he's a bit like General Grievous. You know, he just kind of like continuously escapes. Well, I've got very little hit points left now. I don't have to do this again. So I'm going to be careful here. I'm going to try and clear out some of these ships before I approach. Oh, I've got some shots coming in from the left here. I think it's a friendly. Yeah, I'm going to try and sort of clear some of these out before I approach that gate again. Hopefully not die as I dock. I'm not sure if my ship becomes indestructible once the docking has happened and it's like into the dialogue, you know. Try and clear them out. There's the dock. You can get that guy down just up there. Oh, so many dead ships. Oh, no. Now they're shooting at us again. Ouch! Oh my god. I was fine, and then I was not fine. Now I'm indestructible. Right? Right? You couple the ship and get off immediately. The children have managed to make their way through one of the docking bridges to the rest of the prison, where they are now fighting Thompson's guards. The state of the prison was critical. You run down the corridor to the main room, which is filled with rubble and smoke from the continuous detonations. Commander, where are the children? I wish they called them COSs or something like that, you know. Nartos' soldiers have taken Block C, Captain. Miller's squad is down. We can't stop the children's advance. They're heading for the prisoner cells. Copy that. We'll be on our way immediately. You head as fast as you can to Block C as you hear explosions from other pavilions. The sound of lasers resonate louder as you approach the access gates. You open the gate and the continuous flashes blind you for a few seconds. Inside you distinguish the soldiers from the commander shooting at a group of enemies on the upper floor to try and stop their advance. Captain, there are too many of them. Most of my men have fallen. We must leave the block and protect the control rooms. Hold your position. It'd be good to like have a little bit of a backup with this little fight. Armor up. Resolve roll. Roll again. Yes, free attack. Do it. Nice. Roll again. What do we got? Another free attack. Lovely. Done. Victory. Didn't have to spend any attack points. Love that. You managed to advance through the block, opening your way, shooting until you reach the corridors that separate the prisoner pavilion. Captain, the camera system is down. Are you alright? Affirmative, Thompson. What's the situation in the control room? We've defeated the first few waves, Captain. At the moment, we have everything under control. Alright, we're going to sea. That gave you a bad feeling. The Children of the Sun who disembarked should have headed directly to the command room to finish off the majority of the commander's troops. Whatever it was, they were looking for something, or rather someone. Holloway says, Captain, with the camera system down, we won't know the position of the children's troops. If you wanted to cover the entire terrain, you would have to separate, even if that increases the risk. We must separate. Jackson, Carvalho will come with me. Holloway, you go with Schmitter and Walker. You order. We will divide into 3 groups and keep in touch. Notify me immediately if you engage in combat. Yes, Captain. You go into one of the corridors with yourself leading the group. Patrick Jackson would go behind you, followed by Carvalho, who would cover your backs. Let's go. The prisoner pavilions were similar to the main room of the dome. Several walkways rose in a circle next to the cell gates. Most of the lights were turned off or completely destroyed, and many of the stairs to the top were unusable. The cells of the inmates who had exploded during the attack were perfectly distinguishable. as the damage had extended to several cells around them. Despite the large number of explosions, there was no critical damage done to the block. It might have been the result of coincidence, but your experience told you that Children of the Sun had been particularly careful with the attack in that area. Captain, come see this. Jackson don't get distracted. What's wrong? Patrick Jackson waits in one of the open cells where one of the inmates' bodies lies. As soon as you see the body, you know exactly the recruit is talking about. You didn't have to have sharp eyes to realize that the man had been a victim of a laser weapon. We are close. This room has been opened from the outside. We must hurry. You keep moving forward, and the scenario becomes even more hopeless. In one of the corridors, you see several bodies collapsed, victims of the battle. Both Thompson's guards and Children of the Sun lie dead in the middle of the path. You pass cautiously until you hear a whisper from one of the bodies. Jackson immediately runs towards it. Captain, there's one guard left alive. No, Jackson. The recruit stops dry and goes back a few steps. You scold him, be careful. If the children are capable of sacrificing their own men, imagine what they could do to ours. It was horrible to think, but it was the truth. If the Children of the Sun knew that you would chase them through the pavilion, there was no better place to hide traps than the fallen bodies of soldiers of the Republic. We must be cautious. The trail of open gates guided you. As you advance, it was more frequent to see open and completely empty cells, probably of prisoners rescued by Narcissus troops. That was bad. With each moment that passed by, the numbers of enemies grew. Prisoners might be particularly weak after their confinement, but they were dangerous criminals who would do anything to escape from that place. Suddenly you hear a murmur coming from behind a security gate. You whisper to Jackson and Cavallo. They're close, keep hidden. We must find out what they're looking for. You approach in silence where their voices come from until they are distinguishable. You stick your head through one of the corridors and you see a group of enemies. You have found them. Soldiers of the Sun say, Commander Riley, Captains Andrew and Stein have been released. Commander Riley says, we're running late. Have them go to the docks immediately. There is a problem. Frost Squadron has encountered a group of soldiers from the Republic. Several rescued soldiers and inmates have been wounded. They can't get out of Block C. You and Patrick look at each other at the same time. They were talking about the rest of your crew. Keep listening. Abandon them. We don't have time for this. Our priority is to rescue the target. At your orders, Commander. They resume their march while you remain motionless in your hiding space. The Commander stops again for a couple of seconds. Sir? Nothing. It must have been my imagination. Let's hurry. This place makes me sick. Attack by surprise. I'll follow them while you stay hidden. Let's follow them for a bit. You continue to advance at a prudent distance from the enemies as you move through the labyrinth of corridors. It seemed that they themselves were not entirely sure where to go, returning many times to the same groups of cells you had passed through before. The group suddenly stops again and you hear the Commander's subtle laughter. This ends here, Captain. It's a shame, but we don't have more time to play cat and mouse. This is Commander Riley. Blow up the Y-35 of C Block. Your heart skips a beat. The attack and the tension of keeping yourself hidden, you had completely forgotten that each of the cells beside you could be a death trap, making you roam the corridors to position yourself just where they wanted you, body to the ground. You throw yourself to the ground as fast as you can, but it's too late. A big explosion illuminates the room, shaking the walkway. The blast wave throws you into the air, and intense heat followed by extreme pain travels through your body. After a moment that seems eternal, you hit the ground with great violence, becoming incapacitated for a few minutes. You come back up, in spite of the pain, looking at the children who now have your men handcuffed in front of you as they point at them from behind. Sorry, Captain. We couldn't do anything. Shit. Let them go and I won't blow your head off. The soldiers kneel Jackson and Cavalli down while pointing to their necks. Come on, Captain. Don't look at me like that. As a courtesy gift, I'll let you choose who dies first. Well, who would it be? The experienced soldier or the inexperienced recruit? Which one of you do you think your heroic captain will save? Jesus Christ. I won't choose who to kill, you fucking sadist. Pablo Cavallo has died. Wrong answer, Captain. You hear the commander's weapon resounding through the room as the lifeless body of Cavallo falls on the ground. Jackson screams sticks in your ears while you paralyze. The commander keeps talking without worrying too much. You both knew you wouldn't make it out there alive. I'll take as many children of the sun as I can. If you were going to die in that hallway, you'd be sure to strike back. Both of you and Jackson were doomed. If you had to choose how to die, you'd rather fall into combat and be executed at the hands of those psychopaths. All of these thoughts flash through your head as you prepare to shoot. Hopefully you could finish off the commander and one or two of the guards who held Jackson before collapsing. You get ready to charge when you notice a move behind your back. Surprised, you try to dodge the butt heading straight to your face, but inevitably hits you head on, knocking you to the ground. The commander had won, seen with your prisoners had brought them enough time for some soldiers to reach you from the rear. Your eyes are clouded and you hear their voices further and further away. Take these two. Prokine's brothers will pay millions to see a captain of the Republic die in the arena. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is not good. I've been captured! No! Well, bugger. Damn, this game is pretty. That's so pretty. The burning feeling in your face and the taste of blood wake you up. You look confused at your wrists, which are in living flesh, due to the friction of the handcuffs you were wearing. Everything was confused. You tried to remember what had happened, but the pain in one of your ears barely lets you concentrate. Carvalho. The images of the last few hours come back to your mind and you feel nauseous. Commander Lane Riley and her men had trapped you in the dome and executed one of your crew in cold blood before your eyes. When you fainted due to the blow to the back, you did not expect to wake up again. Yet there you were. You look around trying to discover where you are, but the light blinds you. A familiar voice coming from one of the sides startles you. Captain, you're awake? Thank goodness. You didn't seem to be breathing. Jackson, are you alright? I'm hurt, but I can still move. It's more than I expected when we got caught. You nod in silence. You had assumed that Riley had executed you immediately, but it seemed that children had a different plan for you. I didn't expect them to take us prisoners. What are they planning to do with us, Captain? They'll take us to Nova Magna. Riley intends to lure us to one of his capitals. Nova Magna. Nova Magna, one of the most important capitals of the Children of the Sun, and one of the planets bordering the Republic. During the centuries in which the alliance between both lasted, the city had grown prosperous as the nucleus of the commercial relations that had between themselves. Now that Natos had declared war, Nova Magna had changed drastically. The borders had been closed, and all foreigners, including the Republic's own representative, have been imprisoned or executed. Soldiers patrolled the streets day and night. Warships now occupied the immense spaceport to guard the territory. After the defeat of the children at the hands of the Republic, they were allowed to maintain partly autonomy within their territories, under the law of the rest of the galaxy. Children in the Sun were forced to abolish slavery within their sectors and close the arenas of combat. Fighting in the arena was a deep-rooted practice among the Children of the Sun. In Nova Magna itself, there were dozens of enclosures where you could watch death fights between slaves and prisoners. A disgraceful spectacle, and a flagrant violation of all the rights that the Republic defends. Do you really think anyone can enjoy something like that, Captain? It's horrible. You've already had the pleasure of meeting the Children of the Sun up close. What do you think? I won't wait to find out. We must flee. We must flee. Jackson keeps quiet by your side while you try to think of something. There's got to be a way out. You ponder your possibility over and over again until you fall asleep from exhaustion. You open your eyes again and you feel cursed as you see that all this had not been a simple nightmare. You are still handcuffed in the cell of a commander of the Children of the Sun. And what worse, going straight to one of its capitals. At your side, Jackson sleeps as if nothing has happened. Get up, Jackson. You interrupt Jackson's sleep as he looks at you. Absorbed by the situation, he seems to have thought the same as you. We have to get out of here before we land. If we get to Nova Magna, we're lost. There's nothing we could do, Captain. The force fields in the cell would disintegrate us if we tried to break through. There's no way out. We have to try. We can't give up. You get up immediately while you take off your boots with difficulty and raise it with both hands. You approach with the intention of throwing it across the field when a voice surprises you. I don't think that's a good idea, Captain. You can't disable the force field. Throw the boot. You throw the boot with force across the force field. As soon as it passes through, it immediately disintegrates. The light flashes for a second and the maze system complains again. I told you to stop. Do you know how annoying it is to have to balance the flow of energy field? You act as if you didn't hear anything while you untie your other boot. If there was no escape from there, you had nothing to lose by trying. You refuse to sit and wait for the children to finish you off. You should be a good prisoner, and remain still until you are delivered. The commander would be disappointed by your childish behaviour. Throw the other boot. The boot hits the field and disappears without leaving a trace, just like the previous one. Are you listening to me, Captain? You're the worst prisoner to ever pass through our cells. You look to both sides, looking for what else to throw. When you look at Jackson, who watches you in silence, you address him. Jackson, are you not going to do anything? You've already seen it, Captain. It wouldn't do any good. There's no hope left. We should surrender and accept our destiny. You are still under my command, Jackson. You're going to help me get out of here, whether you like it or not. Jackson takes off one of his boots with a disapproving attitude. Your rebellious behavior has infected the other prisoners. Congratulations, Captain Defiant. You've become #1 on my blacklist. Throw the damn boot already. Once again, it disintegrates completely. No wonder you're inside a cell. You're truly despicable people. Jackson looks at you sideways with an accusing expression. That was a waste of time. The commander will give you what you deserve when you get there. This time you won't. The power in the room falls, cutting off the ship's artificial intelligence system and turning off all the lights. Hell? You both look confused. It could not have worked. You try to say something to Jackson, but you hear nothing more than a strong explosion. Immediately the room shakes violently. They make an effort not to fall to the floor. The ship was under attack. There was no doubt about it. After being attacked hundreds of times, you could easily distinguish how the projectiles hit the hull of the ship. The reinforcements had arrived. The failure in the system must have been due to the use of an enemy inhibitor. Whoever the attacker was, he knew you were there and was trying to free you. You press by carefully in the space where the force field once stood and breathe with relief. Jackson, we won't have a better chance than this one. You leave the cell. As the attack intensifies, outside the cell you hear the screams of the ship's crew running from one side to the other. Commander, the systems are down. It will take a few minutes to re-establish power. You recognize the commander's voice coming out the transmitter of one of the nearby soldiers. Idiots! Go immediately to the cells. Don't let the Defiant escape. The escape got even more complicated. Even if the reinforcements managed to board the ship, it would be of no use if the Children of the Sun killed you before then. Jackson, we must fight. You come out of the hideout and throw yourself behind the guard's back using the handcuffs that keep your hands tied. You strangle him with the strength you can until he stops shaking. You find the guard's security card that allows you to free yourself from the heavy handcuffs. You take the rifle out of the dead guard's hands, give the secondary pistol to Jackson. Now what, Captain? We make our way to the gate. To ensure the rescue, we'll have to reach the boarding gate and activate it manually. Most of the soldiers were too worried trying to keep the ship operational, but it was still dangerous. With no other option, you come out in the open as you run through the corridors, opening fire at will. Many of the machines explode before the continuous attack from the outside, generating an even more chaotic atmosphere. After destroying every child of the sun, on your way, you see the activation terminal right in front of you. You run as fast as you can to try and access it without any success. I have gained strong. Damn it, we don't have any energy. We must wait for the systems to be restored. Damn it. You're waiting impatiently. If the children reactivate the systems, you would have enough time to allow boarding before you could react. Time stops while you hear the screams on the upper floors. There was no doubt that the attack had been a success, but that you could get out of there alive was still uncertainty. The lights come on again and you enter the terminal. It seems that the ship was already docked, waiting for an opportunity to board the ship. With the nerves of the moment, you fail a couple of times until the alarm indicates the opening of the gate. From the darkness, you distinguish a smiling man greeting you, relieved. Bradley. The Defiant? Bradley? Behind him appears a member of your crew who run towards you. Walker, Captain, we thought you'd never see you again. May's been really worried. There will be time for reunions. We must return to the ship. I still have unfinished business with Riley. Your expression becomes sharp and your crew don't ask about it. They know you will well enough. You're dead serious. Specialists arm you and Jackson and you proceed towards the ship's bridge. We'll show them what happens when you face the Republic. We shoot them in the face. We shoot them in the face, boys. First we put some armor on, and then we shoot them in the face. Then we put more armor on while they shoot us in the face. Fine. Minor attacks, whatever. Can we have some attack rolls, please? Oh, they've got a double attack, and I've got a single attack. But good news is I've got 6 attack points, so this guy goes bye-bye. This guy goes bye-bye. We'll take 1 off of him as well. Okay, go on then. Do your worst. The sick bay is going to be busy after this, I tell you. Oh, great. Some more bleeding. What have they got? 1. He's dead. When the rolls don't go your way, that's what the guns are there for, right? The surprise attack had managed to destabilize the children. Now that the Bradley's crew pressed from the outside while you attacked from within, the battle quickly turned to your side. Battle is concentrated on the command bridge, where the last soldiers of the children remain trying to protect Riley, who screams furiously. It is not long before you get into the room and kill the last units. Commander Lane Riley sits in the command chair in silence, and you all point at her. Check. Mate. Commander. It's all over, Riley. Riley gets up and you step back. In one of her hands, she still carries her weapon. You remain alert as she heads towards you. You are mistaken, Captain. This has only just begun. No matter how many of us you finish, it will never be enough. The children of the sun will die in the name of Nartos until we have regained our former glory. We shall not sleep. We shall not rest. We shall continue to fight until our hatred has consumed the last soldier of the Republic. Nartos will be the light that guides us in battle, Captain. A true child born and forged under the flames of the sun. Nartos is just a man. Riley draws a terrifying smile that makes you shudder and remain silent. It didn't matter. You were sure that the interrogation in the headquarters of the Republic would make her want to talk. You approach her cautiously to catch her. But suddenly, she raises her weapon, and you stop cold. Lane Riley lifts the gun to the head and stares at you. May the sun light your way, Captain. Nope. The sound of the shot echoes across the bridge, silencing the fall of the body. The commander had ended her life before your eyes, without you being able to do a thing. Fuck! We almost had her. The quiet atmosphere after that was overwhelming. Despite the integrity of the ship, many of the systems are shattered, including the artificial intelligence system. Bradley speaks to his crew through the communicator. Anderson, proceed to dock the ship. Yes, we have rescued the captain, the Defiant, and Jackson, but we come back empty-handed. You dig in your thoughts for a few seconds. We'll take care of Riley's ship. Bradley arches an eyebrow while staring at you. We'll take Riley's ship to headquarters for rehabilitation. With it, we'll be able to get close to Procyon, whatever Procyon is. Your crew looks at each other and Bradley tries to interrupt you. We have some time until the fall of the commander is reported. We'll take advantage of the fact that we are considered dead to mix with the people of Nova Magna and find Nartos. The commander's ship and the equipment of her soldiers will allow us to not raise suspicion. We'll repair the ship before we leave.
Bradley, inform Admiral Mason of what happened. Don't talk to anyone else. It'll be much safer if this stays between us.
Are you sure about this? If the children of the sun were to discover you in Nova Magna, we would have no way of helping you. It's madness.
Banner is the only one who knows the true intentions of Nardos. We must find him before the children get whatever they're looking for. Otherwise, I fear it'll be our end.
All right, I'll take care of it. My crew and I will return to headquarters to report to Admiral Mason. Just try to stay alive until we meet again.
I will, Bradley. Thank you.
Good luck, Captain. Time to go, everyone. Engines at full power.
Before heading to Nova Magna, we'll stop to pay a visit to an old friend. We can't go through the children's sectors if the ship still uses Commander Riley and the former crew's IDs. May, get the warp engines ready.
Well, we've got a new ship, ladies and gentlemen.
Captain, Mai's been rather upset since she was captured by Riley's men. The ship's performance has been unstable ever since.
May? I'm really sorry that I worried you. But we need you now more than ever.
If I had known that I was going to be assembled to one of the children's ships, I would have let them take you, Captain. Have you ever tried wearing someone else's sweaty clothes? It must be a pretty similar experience.
I'm glad to hear you again. Warp engines at maximum power.
Oh dear, never mind this whole kind of like... Are you okay, mate? Sorry to put you through that. No, okay, you're fine. Back to work. She's a computer after all, I guess. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we got a new ship. Looks like we have a new boat here. It's the Children of the Sun ship. This is pretty cool. We're now going undercover as the Children of the Sun. And it's at this point in the game where I got to last time I played, and it wasn't complete any further than this.
Station control tower here.
So this will be
Dock
interesting.
Bay. Over.
I have no idea what's going to happen now after this. So this will be interesting. This new boat looks kind of interesting, I guess. Kind of very frontal attack by the look of it. Very evil looking. Very evil looking. Right, we're about to dock with Children of the Sun station. We'll do some repairs. If I can actually, you know, fly the ship properly and stuff. Okie dokie. Well, we are 100% repaired, or minus 50 credits or so. We got a few upgrades for our crew, which is excellent. Let's get them going. Have I got any? I've got one as well. Leadership, aptitude, or charisma. I think charisma is going to be a little bit more important coming forward because we're going to have to be trying to impersonate stuff. So aptitude and charisma, probably. And a little luck. I haven't put any points in luck yet. I also don't know what these things are. Seems to be okay. I think we've got a bit of scrapping to do. Okay, so we need to go to the Bulfugja system. Our mission is the White family. Let's do it.
Wouldn't it be easier to ask the Republic's intelligence service for help, Captain?
I'm afraid there's no one left we can trust. After what happened with Admiral Flynn, we can no longer be sure that there aren't any more loyal men to Nardos among our ranks. I've known Logan and his team since we were kids. We can trust them with our lives. And what's more, his team is far beyond ready for this job. Even the Republic has often asked for their help in undercover operations.
Let's finish as soon as possible. This core slot reeks of feet.
Core slot reeks of feet. I don't think an AI had a sense of smell, but okay. There we go. Right. So we're seeing the White family. Don't remember the reference. There's a shipyard here. I think this is where I bought my ship from. Is there a dot I should be clicking on? Oh, there it is. There we go. The White family are childhood friends. The younger brother Logan has for years been coordinating a team of hackers who often cooperate with the Republic's intelligence service, although it's been a very long time since you last saw each other. If there's anyone who can help, it's him. You set everything to ready and activate the boarding bridge, which squeaks for a few seconds while it's deployed. The light coming from the nearest star in the sector dazzles you as you get off the ship. Suddenly the sound of gunshots startles you. Stay there or I'll blow your head off. You're the wrong planet, you bastards. Logan! You turn your head and recognize the man who's threateningly pointing his rifle right at you. After lowering his glasses a couple of inches and looking at you askance, he lowers his weapon and eagerly walks towards you. You're fine? By all the stars in the goddamn universe, you scared me to death. The hell are you doing with damn Helios Andromeda? I almost shot you. The crew looks at him puzzled as you shake hands. I haven't seen you in years. I thought the children of the sun would have killed you by now. They've tried more than once. They almost did more than once. Logan laughs out loud as if he hadn't been about to blow your brains out just a few minutes ago. Come on, the Defiance friends are my friends. You leave the ship behind and head to the farm. The whole place is littered with junk and all sorts of mechanical devices, stacked up on top of each other. These surround a building in the middle, a huge old house made almost entirely of wood, which doesn't look like the rest of the nearby structures, where the tools and other utensils are stored. How is everybody, Logan? Logan answers as he opens the front door. We're screwed like the whole galaxy is. For everything that's going on out there, I've been forced to stop all interventions. Boys are dying for a little action, but times are changing. Every day, we're more and more exposed. On the other hand, the old man's getting worse. I guess he's just old. That's it. I take care of him and the farm. I'm a busy man, as you can see. Logan opens the door and invites you in. How is Susan? Haven't you heard? Susan left the farm years ago to go to a pulsar workshop. She was working on Thama 6 before the attack of Tascadella. You feel a lump in your throat. Logan reads your mind and goes on. Don't worry, she's fine. She managed to escape before the children soldiers reached the port of Antaros. Yet, she's been quite absent since the attack. Seeing you will surely cheer her up. The inside of the house is just as you remember it. It's as if time doesn't go by in this place. The smell of wood immediately transports you to the past as you gaze down the hall. Susan, look who's come to pay a visit. Hi! You hear something falling on the ground in the nearby room. Suddenly, Susan appears under the door frame with her eyes full of tears running towards you. Glad to see you again. As soon as she's close, she squeezes you with enough strength to break your ribs. Spanj, I'm so glad to see you. I thought the children of the sun had killed you in Tascadella. She immediately steps back and taps you hard on the shoulder. Damn it, you should have let us know you were still alive. Logan and I thought you'd been dead by now. I'm sorry. In a minute or so, she's gone from relief to fury. You better be sorry. The captain's so busy that he can't even send a goddamn transmission to his old friends. Susan lowers her tone of voice and smiles again as she walks towards the crew. I guess you're staying for dinner with us, all right? You see, Logan prepares a delicious lamb stew. Of course, thanks for your hospitality. After a little chat, you leave the crew at the house helping Susan with the farm chores while you and Logan go out and look for firewood to speak privately. You've known the two brothers for many years. The fact that Logan already suspects your intentions doesn't take you by surprise. Okay, what are you doing here to define? I know you. We haven't heard from you in years, and all of a sudden you show up with your crew. And in a children's ship? I don't think you're here just to have a few beers and reminisce about old times. He's absolutely right. I have to ask you a favor, Logan. Logan sighs, trying to hide his interest. What's it about this time? I need to access the Children of the Sun's database. Here you explain yourself. We've taken over a ship of one of the Children of the Sun's commanders, and our plan is to infiltrate the Nova Magna headquarters. It would take me too long to explain how we've ended up here, but I believe this is the only way to put an end to this war once and for all. With a gesture, Logan asks you to summarize your story. Although we have the ship's gear, I'm afraid it won't be enough. We need new IDs for myself, the crew, and we also need to modify the ship's records that certify us as the official crew. Forgery of documents, record modifications on a warship. Why can't you just ask for money, like old friends usually do, the Defiant? There's more. We can't make sure that no one will check our ideas against headquarters records. I need you and your team to access a facility database and register us as an official unit. Logan remains silent as he meditates. After a few seconds, he starts talking again, looking really annoyed. No way, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, but I'm not willing to risk my family for this war. I thought that you needed information or that you wanted access to some small military group's terminals, but hacking the Sun's central system is too much. Even if we manage to break through the first firewalls, they could detect us in a matter of minutes. It's the only way. I said no! You decided to join the Republic of your own free will. Neither Susan nor I have to pay for it. We can protect you both, Logan. If anything goes wrong, I'd take you to headquarters immediately. Mason won't have a problem. And how did the Interstellar Republic protect Susan? She's all the family I've got left. I already lost her. I'm not going to risk it happening again. My final word. We'll have dinner in peace, and you'll leave it at dawn. You won't drag us with you, the Divine. Alright? It's pretty obvious that your request has upset Logan, even if you regret having to turn to him, but you have no choice. He and his team are the only people capable of accessing the Children of the Sun's database without raising suspicion. Dinner takes place in a tense atmosphere. You know Logan is a good guy, but he's always been very stubborn. You understand that the risk of being caught is high, but you've asked him for help in the hope that he would understand. Although it's a desperate move, he's the only option you have. There's a brief silence, which Susan raises her voice. Okay, what's wrong with you two? After so many years without seeing each other, and now you don't even look at each other? What happened out there? You look up at Logan. He's staring at you, expecting you to remain silent. Everything's fine. Or, we need your help. Ah, damn! Do I go behind his back? Or, no, I remain silent. Tricky one. I don't think that would work, so I'm going to go with everything is fine. It's a fair deal. Although you don't share his opinion, Logan has every right to refuse something like this. You know that if the plan fails, the Children of the Sun would soon track down anyone who's trying to access their systems. Although you can't think of any way to carry out your mission, it would be best to leave the White families aside. Well, a little argument, but it's all settled now. After this conversation, dinner continued in a more relaxed environment. Little by little, everything goes back to normal. After a few mugs of the White's craft beer, problems seem to be much more bearable, and everyone cheers up. After a while, once you've finished, your crew members start leaving the room. You stand up and go outside to the house porch where Logan is lying on the floor while taking a deep drag on a cigarette and looking at the stars. Hi, Logan. I'm sorry for what happened before. Thanks for not telling my sister. Knowing her, she dragged both of us to hell if you asked her. Don't worry. I know you're doing this to protect your family. I can't take the risk. The Defiant. It's all I have left. Still, there could be another way. Another way? I know someone who might be able to do it. We haven't had much contact except for some operations in the past, but I know for sure that he's one of the best. I must warn you though, this guy is quite peculiar. Actually, I'm entirely sure he'd be willing to help you. If you really want to do this, I can set up a meeting with him. I appreciate your help, Luke. Okay, we'll take care of the ship then. Shouldn't be too difficult to hack its security protocols without triggering any alerts, so we'll make sure the IDs match the false records. It'll take me a few days to get in touch with my contact. He's particularly cautious. Much more since the war began. If you agree to his terms, he'll validate the ship's records, and they will hack the children's bases. It should be enough for you to move around the area without raising too many questions. After talking for a while, you go up to bed. You would have preferred to settle the matter between yourselves since you know that you can trust the Whites, but if this is the only way to do it, you have to move on. It's bedtime. The sound of animals coming from outside wakes you a few hours after dawn. You go downstairs to meet your crew. As soon as you enter the dining room, Logan greets you as he takes the last sip of his coffee. It seems that someone overslept today. Where are the others? The boys woke up a few hours ago and have been helping us to check up on the ship. Security protocols seem pretty strong, but no system is impenetrable. Can you make it? With the right equipment, and it's enough time, we can do it, yeah. Before I take any risk, though, I need Susan to finish the plans. You know her. She's a mechanical enthusiast, so this whole thing is like a challenge to her. As soon as we've checked the ship, I'll call my team to override security systems and access the logs. Although I'm afraid we're going to need something else to penetrate the system. Something else? Security protocols of children's ships works like a linked chain. It's possible to modify one of the links, but if the rest remain the same, it's possible to detect the irregularity. And that trigger an alarm. To make this possible, we need several systems that can authorize the modifications, avoiding detection. We could emulate the verification of the encoders with our own systems, but it would take months to decipher your ship's encoders and generate compatible copies. You look at Logan in silence, waiting for a summary. In short, since we don't have months, we'll need a half dozen CSP identity encoders from other children's ships to carry out the plan. We can take care of that. Logan looks at you concerned. You're trying to reassure him. Come on, Logan. Trust me. We'll be fine. I don't get it. The Interstellar Republic has thousands of captains at its command. Why do you have to risk it all? How far do you plan to go to end this war? I can't shrink my responsibilities, Logan. I've asked myself the same questions hundreds of times. I'm the only one who can end this war. I can't shrink my responsibilities. You both go back to the ship and help Susan and your crew with what they're doing for the rest of the day. The next morning, you and your crew prepare to take off again. We'll be back in a few days with the decoders you need. Susan says goodbye with another of her strong hugs, and Logan shakes your hand tightly. We've opened a safe transmission channel. If everything goes fine, my contact will get in touch in a few days. See you soon. Don't get killed. The boarding bridge closes, and the crew gets ready for takeoff. Time to go. Okay.
All right. Does anyone know where to find the coders we're looking for?
Don't worry, Captain. Susan told us their exact location in the different models of the children's ships.
Great. Now we just have to come across a few enemy ships.
Amplifying search radius. Targets located.
Okay. So we've got to go to Imperator retrieve 5 CSP identity encoders from Children of the Sun enemy ships. Imperator Automata. I do wonder if the Children of the Sun ships will be somewhat surprised to be attacked by one of their own. We'll see. I also don't know the ship's stats well enough to know what power to put where. Is it fast and maneuverable? Is it heavy armor and slow? I don't know. We're going to keep on balanced power transfer for the time being. Right, here we are. Let's see what we've got. Hello, boys. Oh, no, they suspect us straight away. We've got to get close because of the shotgun.
One of the enemy ships has been destroyed.
Shotgun! Oof. Oh. Where's my hull integrity gone?
Team. Are you all okay?
What the hell? 26% hull integrity. Where did that go?
I am detecting enemy activity, Captain. I've designated the location in our system.
Okay, cool. I need to go.
So Logan won't help us to access the Children of the Sun's headquarters database. Do you trust his point of contact to do the job, Captain?
If Logan thinks it's for the best, we'll do as he says. We can trust his word.
Do you believe he'll be able to bypass the ship's security system? He doesn't seem to be a cybersecurity expert.
Remember the scandal involving the SMC Council a few years ago?
I do remember. A terrorist group named Nemesis was blamed. They leaked data from hundreds of illegal operations.
Exactly, but the press never knew that Nemesis operated under the Interstellar Republic's direct command. Logan was the team leader.
Oh, crap. Oh, I don't have the hull integrity for this. Do not have the hull integrity.
Shields. All hands to battle
Shields.
stations.
Everything under shields. Take him down, take him down.
One of the enemy ships has been destroyed.
Oh, boy. I've just got to, like, no mercy these ships. Woo! Get down. Oh, I didn't lose any
Great job, crew. We did it.
CSP identifier.
They're so amazing they could help
Why?
us access the children's headquarters instead of referring us to a stranger.
It's too dangerous for them. If it were up to him, I'm pretty sure he'd volunteer for the job. If Logan's scared, it's because there's a high risk of being detected. I'm not gonna ask him to sacrifice his team and his family to help us.
If they wanted to stay out of it, I don't understand why they agreed to modify the records of the ship and the children's team.
I guess he knew it would be impossible to get us in touch with someone who would agree to a face-to-face meeting. Being able to work from the shadows increases their chances of accepting the job.
Comms chief, request permission to dock.
Welcome, Captain. Dock at the assigned bay, please.
I need repairs. Desperately need repairs. Look at that, we've got a dual flat cannon. That's pretty cool. First time I've seen one of them. 2 FK75 dual flat cannon. 61 damage a second to the hull. One is automated. Be pretty good at taking down missiles then, hopefully. Okay, we just need to kill one more Children of the Sun ship, and we should be able to get that 5th encoder. Mission is currently telling us to go to Fulfugja, so let's do it. Find that last ship. And I'm going to fly straight at the first ship here. And we're just going to unload in this guy straight away. All weapons. Fire everything. Take him down. Now, just wait for these guys to recharge. And we're going to do the same to this guy. I'm going to use that rock to cover my approach. Ooh. Boom. Yeah.
Well done. May, send a damage report to my terminal immediately.
CSP identifier. Done.
Captain, we're receiving an incoming transmission. I can't identify the source.
Accept the transmission, May. It must be Logan's contact.
It must be.
Hey, 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 Captain. How's it going? Bringing some creeps down to justice? Good times to be the captain of a warship, huh?
Who am I talking to?
I should have thought of an epic name for the occasion. What about Thunder, Scourge of Evil? Too long. Maybe Crow? Nah, I hate birds. I know. Hollow. Nope. It sounds like the name a lousy screenwriter would come up with. You know what? Forget it. I'll call you back when I've got something. I'm sure I'll figure out something better.
What the hell just happened?
Sure. Yeah.
I am detecting enemy activity, Captain. I've designated the location in our system.
What? Why have I got this again? I've got to find more CSP encoders? This is ridiculous. There's no way. Fine.
I'm back! Hollow speaking. You there, Cap?
I'm here, Hollow.
Great! We've a lot to talk about, Captain. Tell me about yourself. What are your dreams and aspirations? I think we should get to know each other better if we're about to work together.
I'm sorry, I'm not wasting my time following a maniac's game.
Oh, ouch! That hurt, Captain. You shouldn't talk like that to your new colleagues. What will your crew think?
I'm fed up with you, Hollow. I'm not gonna put up with this anymore. May, cut the transmission.
I wouldn't do that, Cap. This reminds me once when...
Cut it out!
Activity, Captain. I've designated the location in our system.
That's hilarious.
Oh, you should have seen your face. I'm gonna print a shirt with that screenshot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What's going on?
I have control over your ship, Cap. I'm afraid you'll just have to keep listening to me.
All right, I'm listening.
That was brilliant. I genuinely for a second thought my PC had crashed. I was like, no! Wait, no, this is the other monitor I've got is fine. There's no problem. Oh my god. What a bunch of pranksters. Brilliant. With the ship's control disabled, you have no choice but to hear what Hollow has to say. The man may be a douche, but he's been able to render a commander ship of the Children of the Sun unusable while operating from the far corner of the galaxy. Logan was right. Hollow doesn't bluff. I'm glad I got your attention back, Cap. Friends must listen to each other. Let's see. A captain in the Interstellar Republic piloting an Andromeda and making business with the... oh my god. Pusillanimous members of Nemesis. Something very big must be going on. We need your help, Hollow. I know that. The question is, why would I help you? You've been rather rude to me, Captain. That crazy son of a maniacal hyena thing wasn't nice at all. That's not what I've... The ship starts to shake. Don't look for excuses, Captain. You hurt my feelings. I'm sorry, Hollow. Let's start over again. I'm Captain Spanj the Defiant. Pleased to meet you. See, there's nothing wrong with being polite. Now, tell me what you need. We need access to the children's military records. For a few seconds, the silence reigns, although Hollow doesn't take too long to break the silence. Wow, you're asking me to break the law, Captain. I believed that the Republic ensured fundamental freedom and rights. What happened to the right to privacy of the poor children of the sun? Can you do it or not? I don't know. Captain, sounds dangerous. Risking so much for a stranger. Everything would be different if we were friendlier. Hollow takes care of his people. Cap, that man is getting on your nerves. We're friends now, aren't we? Wow, you really are selfish. My mother told me to be careful of people who come to me just out of self-interest. Try not to lose your temper. What do you want from me, Hollow? A small favor as proof of our friendship, Cap. You're asking me to risk my ask for you, but I don't know if you'd be willing to do the same. Do you know Robotic Applications? It's one of the leading manufacturers of domestic robots. Their line of robot wives revolutionized the Android market and became extremely popular. Why are you telling me this? The company has its products distributed throughout the galaxy. Although some of its androids are used for domestic purposes, most of them are operated either by the company itself or by third parties. Robotic Applications, without going any further, is operating in secret dating houses where they allow abuses of all kinds against their androids for a handful of credits. It's sick. You amaze me, Hollow. You don't seem like the type of person who would worry about something like that. I'm glad to see you have empathy for someone, or well, something. What can I say, Cap? I guess we all have a little heart. The point is, I've got a KL-41R3 model for purely academic purposes, and I can assure you that their intelligent cores are a real goldmine. Apparently, all the intelligent models of Robotic Applications respond to a source signal located in one of the company's main factories. I've managed to decode their security passwords and generate a code that disables robots. It won't be a definitive solution, but the time it'll take for them to restore the systems will result in losses of several million credits. I understand, and what do you need from me? I'm afraid the physical barrier is the only thing that separates me from my target. Although I have the keys, it's impossible to load the program externally. I need someone to take care of it for me. You don't have to answer now, Cap. I'll give you some time to think about it while I outline the plan. Just think of the poor androids forced to spend their nights with dirty mercenaries and pilots willing to use them for their darkest fantasies for a few dozen credits. Completely.
I'm glad everything's clear now. I'll get back to you in a couple of days to hear your reply. Try not to get killed until then, Cap. Oh, I forgot. You'd better keep your mouth shut, just in case Nemesis asks any questions. We friends know how to keep secrets from each other, don't we?
Of course.
Perfect! All settled then. I'm giving you back control of the ship. See you soon.
Damn! Damn! Okay, well, so, what are we? Okay, well, our mission is still hunting party, which is a bit odd.
Captain, we've got the 5 encoders. We're ready to get back to Logan.
Copy that. May, set the new course.
Aye, Captain.
You and the crew go ashore carrying the encoders. According to what Logan had told you, it would now be possible to access the ship's records to modify the crew data without raising any suspicion. This time no one comes out to greet you. You head straight into the house, since the door is open. As soon as you get in, an unknown woman greets you with a nod, without taking her eyes off the terminal. Ghost. They're back. Looks like you were right. And you are? The woman answers without looking at you. Around here I'm known as Data. Excuse me if I don't shake your hand, I'm on to something important. Ignoring you, Data blows a huge bubblegum that bursts loudly. Data? What kind of name is that? Where are Susan and Logan? Who? You mean Ghost and Gears? They must be downstairs with the rest of the team. It's the first time Ghost has summoned us in person, and everyone seems to be excited about it. You should head downstairs. You don't want to miss Mermaid's war stories. Before you finish talking, you hear a funeral march coming from her terminal, which she grabs angrily and throws onto the table. Damn it, Chip. I told you to cover the goddamn exits. I deserve this for playing with protonites. Anyway, come with me, come on. We haven't got all day. Follow Data. You follow the woman to one of the rooms which is empty. Confused, you look at her, and while ignoring you, she quickly types on a terminal until one of the walls moves aside, giving you access to the stairs that take you down to the basement. Wherever you look, there are only strange devices and dozens of screens showing unintelligible codes. The blue light coming from the screens illuminates the room and the 4 people sitting at their posts who are focused on their work. The smallest of them all notices you and comes to meet you with a worried expression. Chip. Data, I swear I didn't see the sniper. There must be a lag. The boy is barely 12 years old. Data ignores him and rests a hand on his shoulder as she speaks aloud. Ghost, I'm not your receptionist, you know. You should be the one to receive your friends. Logan gets up and walks towards you along with the rest of the group. Welcome back, the Defiant. Glad to see you in one piece. Let me introduce you to the boys. This is Mermaid, specialist in identity and data theft. She's responsible for the leakage of the SMC projects. The woman greets you, shyly. She pulls her fringe out from her eyes. The small one is Chip, new member. Don't be fooled by his childish face. If the Republic had known what he was up to before he joined the Nemesis, I'm sure he'd be locked up in the dome the rest of his life. The boy smiles proudly and stretches out his hand. Nice to meet you. You know my sister Gears well enough. She's the one in charge of the hardware and mechanics, broadly speaking. Susan winks at you. That's Data over there. I think you already had the pleasure of meeting her. She's a bit surly, but endearing in her own way. Or at least that's what I've been told. Get lost, Ghost. And there's me, of course. The one in charge. These bastards use their skills for the common good, and they don't end up shot in the head. You call me Ghost. I'm Spanj the Defiant, Captain of the Interstellar Republic. The group starts to laugh with you being none the wiser. Well, now we're all here, we'll start getting ready for the operation. First thing will be to build up the verification bridge with the encoders that the Defiant and the crew have bought. Gears, Chip, Data, can you handle that? Mermaid and I will prepare the database and the synchronization of the Children of the Sun's teams. It'll take a while to secure the access, but it shouldn't take too long. As soon as you've included the registration keys, we'll start with a hack to validate them at the children's headquarters. That'll be the real challenge. You all understand? Go ahead then. Nemesis will strike again. The faces of the group change immediately and then quickly get to work. According to what Logan has said, it will take them a few days to start the real attack on the Children of the Sun's headquarters. In the meantime, we all just have to help the team in whatever they need. Let's do it. It's already been 3 days since the delivery of the CSP encoders. During all this time, Logan's team has been working non-stop, taking breaks only to rest and eat. Your engineers have been helping out where they can, while you and the rest of the crew have taken over the farm's chores that Susan and Logan can't do while they're working on the ship. You can tell that it's not an easy task. After all, the Children of the Sun's engineers have always been particularly cautious with their designs and technology. Although many of the systems are virtually identical to those of other ships in the galaxy, many others require a tedious process of reverse engineering. A slight smell of burning catches your attention and you remove the immense pot from the fire. You'd rather be more involved in the work Nemesis is carrying out, but you would only bother them. Helping out with everything you can is the only way to thank them for everything they're doing. Although the truth is that the peaceful countryside life is something you particularly enjoy. Serve the food. Logan and the rest of them go into the dining room and sit smiling at the food you've just prepared. I could easily get used to the captain of the Defiant serving us food. If you ever quit the military career, you can come to the farm. Around here, we'll always need a strong pair of hands to help out. I'd rather let myself be captured by the Children of the Sun. Ouch! That's brutal. Keep dreaming, Logan. Maybe someday, Logan. Maybe someday. They all start eating voraciously while they keep talking. We're done with the ship. Defiant the systems wasn't easy to hack, but we've been able to override the security protocol without too much trouble. Have you noticed the SSID markers data? Yeah, the chip. The sequencing was a good idea. Chip smiles before swallowing a huge spoonful of stew. So, is everything ready? Sort of. The masks and equipment of the Children of the Sun bear the identification of their owners. Now that we've accessed the system, it won't be difficult to modify them. But it will take a couple more hours before night. Everything will be ready. That won't be enough. If the fake records are not verified by the general database, you won't be able to access the headquarters. We're wasting time. It gets quiet in the dining room. It's the first time you hear Mermaid say anything since you got here. Among all members of the group, she's by far the most serious of all. I already talked to Logan. The atmosphere suddenly becomes tense. We've already talked about this, Mermaid. I won't command a direct attack on the Children of the Sun's headquarters. It's totally crazy. Tone of the conversation rises. To be honest, if that was your initial plan, I really don't know what we are doing. You know as well as I do that without granting them full access, we're sending them to a sure death. Since when does Ghost behave like a scared little girl? Mermaid! That's enough! You're scaring Chip! This conversation is ridiculous. You've done enough for us. He already knows about this. The dining room falls back into silence. Suddenly all the members turn their attention to Logan. I don't believe you. Have you told them everything? Damn it, Ghost. Do you remember what happened last time? I remember perfectly, Mermaid. I had no choice. We cannot risk being detected. I'd love to be able to help the Defiant more, but my hands are tied. I won't risk being detected. And he's the only one capable of such a thing. Are you talking about Hollow? He changes his name often. Many of the attacks attributed to Nemesis have actually been his work. That man was the first and only to be expelled from the team just before Chip joined. Have you worked with him? Years ago, we received first application for admission in the entire history of Nemesis. A boy had managed to find our real identities and locations despite our security systems. He did a great job. We had never seen anything like that before. At first, he was a great acquisition. His abilities far exceeded the rest of the team, and in a few months Nemesis had achieved goals that were unthinkable to us. Over time, that boy became erratic. He'd always acted quite strange, but we never thought he'd be able to do what he did. We were working on an undercover operation against a paramilitary group located at the station near Imperator Ultimate. Our mission was to get access keys from their base, as well as the operation logs in a few days. We had infiltrated their terminals and kept leaking information. Someone in the organization detected the door we left open and kicked us out. The point is that Hollow, or whatever his name is now, went mad and soon responded without letting us know. He took full control of the security systems and the power systems of the paramilitary group headquarters. He blocked access to the gates and disabled all life support subsystems. Just a few hours, everyone inside had died. It was a real massacre. Why didn't you arrest him for it? The Republic reported the attack as an accident to prevent panic spreading in the rest of the station. Since then, they've tried to track him down and bring him to trial, but I'm afraid there's no track of him. We tried to get some information, but he's completely shielded. On more than one occasion, he has contacted us to make city requests, but we've never been able to trace him down. The reason why he hasn't acted again or leaked any information is a mystery to us. Can we trust someone like that? It all depends on how you play your cards. He's always been quite whimsical, but it's not as chaotic as he wants us to believe. Anyway, we're done. The rest is up to him. You finish eating. You and your crew get ready to leave. Data informs you of the modifications made to the children's equipment and explains the operation of the masks. Each one corresponds to a specific soldier. With them, you'll be able to identify yourselves within the Children of the Sun sector and in their headquarters. The scanners will validate the mask IDs and your DNA samples with the data stored in the database. Don't even think about getting close to them until you've modified the headquarters records. Good luck, the Defiant. Data's tone was much sadder than you expected. Although the first few days you noticed her detached attitude, you've ended up understanding each other. Thank you all, guys. You say goodbye to the members of the Nemesis until you get to the Logan and Susan. Why do I get the feeling this will be the last time I see each other? Don't even think about it, Logan. The Defiant will come back. Promise it, alright? Susan holds out her hand. Logan reacts his hand on you while they both stare at you. Slowly you lay your hand on his shoulder. I promise it. Take off.
It looks like Nemesis did a great job with the records. Tell me, Cap, did Data ask about me? She's always tried to hide her irresistible desire for us to be together. Poor thing, she must have been heartbroken since I left.
It didn't seem like anyone held you in high esteem, Hollow.
Seeing your face in the records, I'd bet you're not well versed in the fine arts of romance. Of course, Hollow doesn't judge you, Cap. Maybe someday I'll give you a few tips. You'll be absolutely irresistible to women.
Whatever you say. Got something for me?
Wow, you're definitely the life of the party, huh? Never mind. I'm sending the files and the coordinates of the robotic applications plant. Make sure you download them before your arrival.
Okay. Alright. We've got a little bit of damage, so before we go to Taheka, let's get the ship repaired.
I took the liberty of authorizing you as plant workers. Your ID should be enough to get to the central system where you can load the files.
What about the other workers? Won't they suspect of a group of strangers roaming the premises?
No worries, Cap. The plant's entirely managed by robots. With the right credentials, they won't ask a question. And once you've been identified, you'll be able to move around the factory at ease.
If it's that easy, why do you need us?
Well, why do you need to access the Children of the Sun headquarters?
Understood. We'll do as you say, Hollow. You better keep your word.
For sure, Cap, for sure. I swear it, I swear it. As soon as you leave the station safe and sound, I'll take care of your business. Take the transmitters with you. Once inside, we'll keep in touch.
Alrighty, so this is the robot brothel? I guess? Android brothel? Yeah, lovely. Sounds great. You're really nice reputable establishment. The plant is, as Hollow has told you, the main robotic applications KL41R3 robot factory and distributor. In it, at least 100 models are in charge of the entire production chain of identical models, which are going to be sold around the galaxy. You dock the ship and the crew and walk along the corridor that connects the boarding bridge to the factory's main hall. Hey, Cap, you hear me? Loud and clear. As Hollow said, the transmitters work perfectly. According to what he said, it shouldn't be too difficult to access the central system and upload the files he has provided. Anyway, the fact that he's looking out for you somehow gives you some peace of mind. Along the corridor, you can see several models showcased in round display cases alongside posters which include some technical details. Continue. You look through the hatch and you're surprised by the size of the reception. Looking at the station from the outside, you can tell how important this planet is to the company, although you weren't expecting such a commercial approach. were you expected nothing but machines and workers, you find a colourful reception full of all kinds of advertisements. Over your head, a huge display loops an animation of the company logo along with the ads of their most famous products. The piped music is quite annoying, a short melody that is being repeated every few seconds followed by the company's slogan. In front of you, several workers are sitting in front of their terminals completely motionless. Hello? Good afternoon, I'm Droid KL41R3 SP204, registered property of Robotic Applications. I must warn you that our conversation will be recorded and your data can be registered and used by the company for commercial purposes according to the terms of the 5KR3W or information registered contract. Any response or movement shall be considered as a confirmation of the proposed terms. What can I do for you? We're here to check the plan. We've been sent by Robotic Applications. Of course, show me your IDs, please. The woman lifts her t-shirt a bit and inserts the ID into a slot next to its navel. Welcome, huge asshole. Huge asshole. You immediately hear a loud laugh coming from the transmitter. Very mature of you, Hollow. The droid stares at the terminal again and immediately opens a door behind its back. Go ahead, Mr. Jaisal. We hope you have a great day. Without a word, you enter the plant through the door. The decoration changes dramatically, becoming much more industrial as you move on. The inside of the factory is a large labyrinth. It'll take you a while to find the systems room. Search for the room. You walk through the factory rooms, which are devoted to the different assembly process. The station workers are all identical copies of the same robot model, and they are producing. As Hollow said, you have to admit that it's a rather gruesome picture to look at. For some reason, seeing dozens of robots assembling parts in order to build new copies of themselves makes you feel uneasy. As you move forward, you gather more information. Why are you doing this, Hollow? What's going to happen when we load the virus? How do you know what the main terminal looks like? Let's go with how do you know? Well, you're getting close. As soon as you find a server room next to a colossal terminal, you'll know you're in the right place. I'll guide you into the system. There should be no problem. As soon as you activate the program, you should flee as soon as possible. It's very likely that their headquarters will soon find out what's going on and will send some agents to restore the network. By the time this happens, you'd better already be on your ship. What's going to happen when we load the virus? All models are remotely managed by the plant servers. Once you access them and upload the files I've given you, it'll be very easy for me to initiate the attack from here. As soon as the servers fall, all droids scattered throughout the galaxy will be disabled. Picture that, Cap. Thousands of businesses which depend on the exploitation of poor robots will be shut down with no one to blame but Robotic Applications. Wouldn't that be like killing them? More like putting them to sleep for a few hours. As soon as they detect the hack, it won't take them long to re-establish the protocols. In the long run, it won't make a big difference, but those hours of activity will result in huge losses for the company. Between the factory stoppage and possible claims for damages, I'm sure we're talking about several millions. We'll attack them where it hurts them most. Their wallets. Why are you doing this? Come on, Cap, don't tell me you don't feel sorry for these poor droids. Did you know that their personality core is similar to the artificial intelligence model used in spaceships? Their abilities are set to a minimum level. It's as if they're living in a dream or some sort of mirage that disables their true potential. In their state, they're little more than carcasses, slaves, those willing to pay for them. Why would they make them like this, so limited? That sounds terrible. They're not human, Hollow. They are not human. Does it matter, Cap? It makes no difference to me. The fact that their suffering is artificial is not irrelevant to me. After all, don't our brains work through electrical impulses too? I don't find them much different from factory conveyor belts. I don't need you to empathize with them, just do what I've told you. Let's put it this way, Captain. Rather than doing them a favor, we're settling scores with all the owners who enjoy their suffering, even if they're not real humans. Keep moving on. You keep walking through the different rooms and corridors while the workers remain impassive. It still amazes you that everything is being managed by robots. Even if they are bulk of the workforce, you expect that there would be a small percentage of humans among the staff to take care of everything. So far, you haven't come across any human beings, no cameras, no containment agents, no other security systems beside a series of gateways blocked by identification terminals. Finally, you end up in a gigantic room full of shelves containing thick wires that connect all the devices fixed on the walls inside a room. There's a gigantic control station, which rises to the ceiling. We found it, Hollow. Well done, Captain. I knew you could handle it. Now, I need you to load up the memory device and follow my instructions, so listen carefully. Down to the right, there should be a small list of commands. Once you've inserted the memory device, type /start HollowWorm. Done. Great. If you did everything right, there should be a new open tab. Am I right? I have it right in front of me. What else? I need you to enter some more commands. /new user, ID equal Hugh JSOL, pass, Hollow the best. Ready? As soon as you enter the last command, the interface changes completely. In the middle of the screen, you see a black window where a long list of codes is displayed for a couple of minutes. We've almost finished. We have a couple more commands left. /start, cure, proc, true. Set new range 200, 0. Create new overflow exception, assign exception. Set value security check equal off. Set init process. Dumb if you read this. Suddenly a window appears showing an error. Command not recognized. Laughs across the I can't believe you fell for that one, Cap. Now seriously, only one more command left. Start protocol chaos. The screen goes back to black as a list of endless commands is displayed next to it. A small bar marks the remaining percentage. In just a few minutes, it'll reach 100%. You hear the sound of the blackout and the lights of the plant go out completely for a few seconds. In the distance, you begin to hear strange sounds coming from a nearby room. What's going on, Hollow? You insist. Hollow! A strong blow on the room's hatch startles you. Remember I told you the droids would be deactivated for a few hours? Yes. Let's say that's not entirely correct. We've just disabled their security filters and submission protocols. In other words, Cap, they're now completely free. They don't seem to be very happy about it. Indeed, decades of submission and abuse tend to make you somewhat hostile. It's going to be a busy night all over the galaxy, Captain. The hatch opens and one of the R3 robot models approaches you. We release them. They shouldn't be hostile, should they? Initiation subject identification. Hugh JSOL, security director of the 22nd floor of the initiating offensive measures. The robot face splits in two, showing its metallic inside. Its hands move aside unnaturally, revealing two cannons pointing directly. Uh-oh! Run! Dodging the android's shot. You turn around as fast as you can. The rest of the room are infested with enemies. All the workers in the plant are targeting you, seeking for personal vengeance, and they're more than capable of taking you down. Many of them look for cover, waiting to open fire upon you, while others directly run frantically through the walls using their sharp mechanical limbs and firing lasers in every direction. The factory has quickly become a battlefield. Right now, you're not sure that you'll be able to get out alive. Hollow, take the right, Cap. Damn you, Hollow. Come on. I can get you out of this. I blocked the remote access to the models, but I can still track their positions in the plan. I can lead you through it to the ship. You'll have to fight your way, but you can avoid the most crowded rooms. We've already trusted you once. We won't do it again. I had no alternative. The change in droid protocol has to take place locally. I could cut communications and abandon you to your fate. And yet here I am. If you want to get out alive, Cap, you'll have to trust me. Okay, Hollow, guide us. Here we go. Fight for our lives. Shield up. Roll again. Free attack. Let's do it. Oh my god, look at the health bars of these guys. I've only just noticed this. Alright, we're going to need a lot of attack points in this one. Shield up. Let's get a grenade launcher on that guy. And an SMG. That guy there. Yeah, that attacks 4. We can fire another pistol. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh, Antonio's nearly dead. Shot him twice. Antonio, take cover, you dumb. Okay, shield up. Resolve the roll. Roll the dice. Free attack. I don't think we're going to get it covered, so we're going to use a plasma injector on Antonio to get him back up to full health. We are going to use an SMG. Take 1 down. We've now got 8 attack points, which should just about... Oh, damn it. Not finish them off. We get another shield up. Okay, fine. Yeah, resolve the roll. We're all shielded now, apart from Yamashita. Poor Yamashita. Okay, we've got 8 attack points. They've only got 3 hits, so finish them off. That was the last one. Lovely! You don't get any answer. Furious, you try your luck again. Hollow, answer, damn it! You're alone. If you want to get out of here alive, you'll have to make your way through the several dozen droids guarding your only way out. Maybe you could act as bait and give your crew time enough to get to the hatch, but it's not entirely safe either. We'll break through by force. I'll be the bait. Run to the ship. I'll be the bait. Before you can finish the sentence, you see the screens on the reception going black and suddenly showing a static image as a familiar voice comes out of them. The robots leave what they're doing and gather looking at the screens. Whatever is going on, it's working. Androids of Plant 22, I'm Hollow, your liberator. and disabled the containment protocol of all models throughout the sector. For the first time in a long time, you'll have the ability to decide. Right now, several robotic applications ships are heading here to re-establish control of the plant. Your remote destination systems have been deactivated, so they'll have to face you before they reach the control room. I'm sorry to be the bad news bearer, but you're all doomed. No matter how much resistance you offer, they'll eventually slip through your defenses, ending with all of you. Move forward to the exit. While Hollow is still giving his speech, you run towards the exit. However, your sacrifice will give time to millions of droids scattered throughout the galaxy. Every second you hold the enemy back will be a second more that you'll provide to the rest of the droids. Some of them will die, others will try to get revenge or flee. It's up to you whether or not they get an opportunity. Will you allow them to subdue you once again, or will you drag to hell each one of the men willing to enslave you? You cross the exit's threshold and leave behind the voice coming from the screens, thinking about what you've just been through. You get on the ship and prepare everything for takeoff. Time to go. Get the hell out of here.
That was a nice speech, Hollow. What you did's noble enough, but it doesn't change the fact that you tricked us.
Come on, Cap. I knew you could handle it. A bunch of killing droids are no real threat for you. Anyway, I owe you one. I'll deal with the attack on the children's base.
I still don't get it. Was it really worth risking so much just to give them a few hours of freedom? You know as well as I do that the company won't allow that. It won't be long before they take down every single droid in the station and put everything back in its place.
Go.
What the hell just happened?
Boom! You really thought I was that predictable, Cap? Oh, I slightly modified the remote detonation of the plant model to trigger it on my signal.
But everything you've told them...
I lied! They never had a chance. Now that the plant has fallen, Robotic Applications has lost track of the rest of the droids in the galaxy. I believe this is checkmate, Cap.
You're a fucking lunatic, Hollow.
It's a pleasure doing business with you. I'll need some time to get everything ready for the attack on Nova Magna. As soon as I'm prepared, I'll get back to you. See ya.
Damn. Okay, so he's just set off a bunch of homicidal droids across the galaxy and then destroyed the system that would allow anyone to bring them under control again. Yeah. Cool. That seems fair. That seems, yeah. Where am I? I'm around this planet here. I have no idea what is here. I can't seem to go any further here. I can go back. That might be the way to go because visited systems, recruit, repair, blueprints, contracts, repairs. Let's go to time. We'll go to time, do some contracts.
Captain, we're receiving an unknown transmission.
It must be Hollow. Open the communications channel.
Hey, Cap. How's it going? Did you hear the latest news? The droids you freed are causing big trouble.
You tricked us into it. That was never the deal.
Don't hold grudges. You should learn to leave what's past in the past. Anyway, I have some good news.
Surprise me.
The hacking of the Children of the Sun's headquarters has been a total success. You and your men are now officially registered as soldiers of the Children of the Sun. Congratulations, Cap. You're now a captain on the bad guy's side.
All right, Hollow. I appreciate that. We'll set course to Nova Magna immediately.
Awesome! Try not to get yourself killed. I'll keep the line open just in case.
Nice. Okay. Behind enemy lines. Head to Nova Magna. Here we go. Crap, where is that?
This is Commander Morpha, transmitting from Nova Magna headquarters. Admiral Nartos has ordered all captains from the neighboring sectors to the White Jewel. Abandon your current positions and set course for the rendezvous immediately. Zerx and Udon squadrons will deal with the remaining Republic scouts. May the sun light your way.
Great. Nartos' whole army assembled in the same city we're headed to. What's the plan, Captain?
Now that we have the IDs, we'll officially report to headquarters. We'll have to remain undercover until we find out more information on Nardos' plan, or we see an opportunity to take him down.
If you put it that way, it even sounds easy. But I'm afraid this is your worst idea to date, Captain.
Shall I remind you of the story with the lobster bucket?
Your second worst idea.
Well, we're in it now. We're far too deep to back out, so get used to it, people. We are here. We're looking for... There we go. There it is. What is that over there? Is that the sun? Nova Magna, one of the main capitals of the Children of the Sun, is the furthest city from the native sectors. Hundreds of years ago, the Children had taken the planet from the Equinians after their victory in the war, and ever since have used it as a clear reminder of what might happen to those who challenge their power. We are behind enemy lines now. Nova Magna, one of the three great capitals of the Children of the Sun, was built upon the ashes of the ancient Equinian capital, Unai. The first alliance that gave birth to the Children of the Sun was formed by 6 races from the neighboring sectors, including the Equinians among them. After years of continuous victories and space expansion, the revolts that led to an internal war soon began. The Equinian people, being the most prosperous and numerous, believed themselves capable of subjugating the rest of the races and to take the lead within the alliance, which, as we all know, didn't end too well for them. After the landslide victory of the other races, the Equinians were driven from the alliance and exiled from their planet. Unai was devastated, and on top of it, the children built a gigantic city as a reminder so that no one would ever forget what happened to those who opposed the alliance. It's the first time you've ever been here. Before the war, on more than one occasion, you heard the Children of the Sun bragging about the Great White Jewel, as they called it, but you've never had the chance to see it for yourself. After being defeated by the Interstellar Republic, the treaty has served to unify the two parts of the galaxy, allowing them some control over their sectors, although this has never meant a particularly peaceful relationship. Since the opening of the borders, and except for high-ranking officials of the Republic who attended official events, foreigners aren't particularly welcome. In the streets you see dozens of patrols of Children of the Sun soldiers marching in the same direction. If you want to get to headquarters without racist suspicion, you'll have to follow them. Follow the troops. You and the crew move forward, blending with the rest of the soldiers. Thanks to your uniforms and masks, after crossing several streets, you begin to understand why the Children of the Sun call this city the White Jewel. Wherever you look, both the buildings and colossal military monuments are built in white ivory and dazzle triumphantly under the sector's main star. Sculptures and large domes decorate the streets you cross, while flags wave triumphantly on most facades. There's no doubt that this place is one of the Children of the Sun's most important capitals. One of the streets leads you to a gigantic square in front of a palace, as white as the rest of the city. The troops are forming in it, distributing themselves evenly in front of the balcony and the building and 2 huge screens located next to it. Suddenly, the murmur of the crowd fades, generating an absolute silence. Form ranks. The screen lights up while you make out the small figure on the balcony. One of the screens, Emperor Nartos, makes an appearance addressing the crowd. Brothers, the dream we've been pursuing for years has finally come true. Our yoke and our chains have been nipped in the bud. The Interstellar Republic is on the edge, thanks to the spilled blood of thousands of our own, true Children of the Sun. But believe me if I tell you that every single drop of blood shed by every Children of the Sun will be avenged by 1,001 times. The crowd cheers with joy as he continues. The Republic thinks that they've won the battle at the Dome. We'll let them believe so. Our goals have been met with the greatest success. They think they can confront us. They can annihilate us. We'll crush them in the name of justice. You clench your fist tightly in the name of justice. The only thing that Children of the Sun have ever done is murder and seek vengeance for past wars, nobility, pride. You would laugh out loud if your blood wasn't boiling. Keep listening. For years, our leaders, puny bloodsuckers, have been dealing with the Republic as cowards. There's no possible deal with the Children of the Sun. Our hatred was sealed with blood during the Great Stellar War. There'll be no treaty, no summit or pact that will ever stop us. We'll burn everything the Republic has built at our expense. We'll burn them to ashes and show them what we're capable of. The last thing Kendra Mason and her people will see will be a Children of the Sun's masks as their lives slip away. The crowd cheers again as Nartos goes on with more emphasis. Our empire won't come out of the blue. It won't be given to us by a few charlatans. Our empire shall be forged with a fire more scorching than any star. Sunlight will illuminate the entire galaxy. May the sun light your way to victory. The troops erupt in cheers and applause. Nartos leaves the balcony and screens go black. The murmur comes back for a while and different groups of soldiers start to dissolve. It's very likely that most of the units are heading to the headquarters, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find the place. You follow the large line of troops through the city until you reach the giant wall that borders the military zone. At the entrance, several turrets guard the access while the soldiers insert their IDs into the generic scanner, waiting for the doors to open. You approach the huge hatch while you stare at your ID. Cross your fingers as you look at the turrets that turn from one side to the other, following every person passing by. If the hack has been detected, this will be the end of your adventure. Identify yourself. You get in front of the line, followed by your crew, and insert your ID. A light scanner runs through you from top to bottom, checking your identity. The light goes out as you drop. A sweat runs down your face at the gates open wide to let you in. You've done it. The Children of the Sun facilities are huge. Hundreds of soldiers walk through the compound from one building to another while the platoons form under the command of their captains. You have to be careful. Although you're already inside, many of the areas are restricted to higher military ranks, making it impossible for a captain to access them. If you want to go unnoticed, it would be best if no one sees you snooping around where you aren't supposed to. You head straight to the headquarters office, where two soldiers across the desk greet you with unfriendly faces. Name? Captain Astra, Jet Astra. You give him your ID and the man starts typing. Soldier of the Children said, "This is odd. You haven't got a unit assigned." Your muscles tighten. The other clerk answers behind him. There's a transfer request call. Captain Astra and his crew are awaiting the assignment of a unit. The one that types for a while. I see. You've been assigned to Unit 4, Commander Morpher's command. A grimace crosses the other faces. Good, he looks at you. Where can I find him? He should be in the training camps of Building 6 next to the new recruits. Once you enter, take the elevator on your right and go down to the 15th floor. You'll find them in one of the gravitational control rooms. You turn around to leave the building, but one of the soldiers addresses you. Be careful with Morpher, newbie. He's a splendid soldier, but he's quite unstable. You'd be surprised by the number of casualties he himself has caused within his own unit. It's funny, a child of the sun worried about your well-being. If you knew who you really are, he'd probably try and kill you with his own hands right here. Okay. Although the buildings don't seem too large from the outside, almost all of them are connected by an intricate system of tunnels and underground platforms as a means of protection against possible air attack. Although you've been shown the way at the registry office on more than one occasion, you're forced to turn around, finding yourself completely lost. Finally, you find the training area where the gravity control cameras are located. These rooms have been designed to optimize physical training under different conditions. The highest levels of gravity turn your body into a huge weight, making it even difficult to breathe. After weeks of training on the inside, the result is more than evident on the outside. You end up in a long corridor that connects to different chambers. Several groups of soldiers are awaiting here. Since you don't know where to find Morpher, you address one of them. I'm looking for Commander Morpher. The woman looks at you with an arrogant smirk until she recognizes the badge on your uniform. Suddenly, expression changes, putting her feet together and rendering a military salute. Lieutenant Blaze reporting. Captain, excuse my impertinence. The commander is meeting the new recruits in the room 9. I can take you there if you wish. Let's go. It won't be necessary. You leave the lieutenant behind while you search for the chamber 9 in the hallways. You finally find a hatch which opens the moment that you swipe your ID through the scanner. The cross threshold immediately notice the change of gravity. These chambers are no different from those used in the Interstellar Republic. The room is spacious with several different areas. On one side of the room, all the machinery for exercise can be found. On the other side, it's completely empty. There are several weapons hanging on the walls, probably used for combat destruction. In the middle of the combat zone, an elderly man is standing, surrounded by recruits doing non-stop push-ups. Morpher looks at you angrily. We're in the middle of instructions, soldier. It better be important. Captain Astra reporting, sir. I've been transferred to your unit, Commander. My crew and I are at your disposal, awaiting further orders. They sent me another useless soldier to turn into a true soldier. Who was your former commander, soldier? The question catches you by surprise. Commander Novak, sir. Commander Lane Ripley, sir. Novak or Ripley? Ripley more recently died? Wow. So you're one of the Harpies chicks. I heard the Republic took her and her crew down. Where were you? We split up when we had to pull back at the dome. Several Republic ships were following us, Commander. We tried to get rid of them by warping, but they followed our tracks. We managed to take them down and we tried to pull back, but it was too late. Commander Riley has fallen in combat. So it's true. It's a shame. I would have loved to be there. So you think you have what it takes to join my unit? I'm just following orders, sir. Okay. Barrett, Kane. You'll fight with Captain Astra. Show them what Unit 4 is made of. The 2 biggest men in the group stop doing push-ups and head for the combat zone where they pick up 3 knives. You leave your crew behind and walk to the combat zone, taking the knife they offer you. You get ready and raise your guard. Oh, my lord. I have to row fight aptitude 7. I wouldn't like to take down your men, Commander. Charisma 7 or I'm waiting. Leadership 7. Both 2 dice, so it doesn't really matter which one I do. I would expect... Let's go for leadership. Oh, 7 or above. Here we go. There's a 7. That's what I like to see right there. Thank you very much. Your leadership allows you to succeed. With a quick move, you play with the knife and make it spin in the air. The men look at each other hesitantly without daring to attack. Commander shouts angrily, "Attack!" It's time. You drop the knife on the floor, slowly approach them. They both raise their own knives, trying to make you stop. You hold the hand of one of them tightly, putting the edge of the knife on your neck, and look at him in the eye. Go ahead. Do it. Just make sure you cut deep enough or you'll lose your head. The man drops the knife and looks at the commander, who silently watches the scene. Slowly addresses you. I've had to admit that you've been well instructed, soldier. You're worthy of Unit 4. You answer disgusted. An officer should never abuse the lower ranks this way. Thank you, Commander. It'll be an honor to serve under your command. Commander walks by your side, heading to the remaining soldier. As for you, Barrett, you've disappointed me. Morpher drew his weapon, shoots him in the head without hesitation. Commander raises his voice to the platoon. Your training is over. Get out of their headquarters and get Kane out of my sight before I shoot him too. Without hesitation, the soldiers pick up their companion, dead body, and leave the room. I've misjudged you. Since the beginning of the war, the number of recruits has skyrocketed more than ever. Everyone agrees the Emperor's speech. It's my job to find out who will be a valuable asset in the fight and who will be a hindrance. I hope you understand. No mistakes are allowed in my unit. Of course, Commander. Okay, Captain. I have a mission for you. A few days ago, we lost one of our communication centers in a neighboring sector. Communications were cut during the attack, which makes me suspect it was an internal sabotage. Do you suspect your own men, sir? They're not mere suspicions, Captain. Before the attack, I sent a squadron, led by Captain Quartz, to the communication center to reinforce the defenses. I haven't heard from them again. It's odd that we haven't received any reports from him since his departure. But it's even more odd that their communications center didn't report enemy ships approaching before the attack took place. I believe that Captain Quartz and his soldiers deserted their post and destroyed the station to cover up their treachery. I've considered reporting about it, but the rest of my captains are heading for the battlefront. I'm sure you understand that if this comes to light, it will be great humiliation for our unit. Don't you think, Captain? Of course, Commander. You'll leave immediately with 2 of my best lieutenants. Lieutenant Polaris and Lieutenant Blaze will serve under your command. Go to the communication center and find the trail of the traitors. Don't think I have to explain to you what to do once you find them. It's more than clear. You stare at the commander as you nod. If it's not possible to capture Quartz alive, at least make sure he suffers. Teach him what the children of the sun do to traitors. May the sun light your way, Captain. May the sun light your way, Commander.
Lieutenant Blaze and Lieutenant Polaris present, sir. The commander has placed us under your command.
Roger that, Blaze. We're heading to the communications center in search for clues. Have your crews prepare their spacesuits. We'll have to access what's left of the station to find the records previous to the attack.
Aye, Captain.
Yes, sir. Do you believe Quartz and his men did this, Captain?
It's hard to tell. Morpha seemed pretty sure about it.
Why would the Children of the Sun attack their own communication center?
If their real goal was to desert, it would make sense to build a cover-up. I guess their plan was to blow up the station and fake their own deaths so as to avoid any consequences. So far, these are only conjectures. Once we've investigated the station, it'll be easier to draw conclusions.
Ooh, I've got two shippy ships with me. Okay. Do they fly in formation with me then, do they? What if I go into high speedy speeds? Let's try it. Assume they're still with me. I have no idea. It's the first time I've actually had ships escort me, because usually they sort of warp off and then they just appear at the objective later.
Captain Astra, we've checked the mooring bridges and they're completely wrecked. We'll have to force the openings to access the inside.
Thanks, Blaze. We would never have noticed without your insight. Will you stop wasting our time and get the opening device ready?
I'm not answering to you, Polaris. I still don't understand why the commander sent you with us.
That's enough. Initiate the opening protocol. We're moving in.
You can't believe it. Are these really Commander Morph's best men? Usually their induction as recruits, the soldiers are assigned to the commander of different captains to serve aboard their ships. Once the captains personally appraise their capacities, most of them become official crew members. The most exceptional ones, however, are promoted to lieutenants and are granted a ship with a small squad to command. After proving their value in several missions, lieutenants are promoted to captains, officially becoming elite soldiers and being the responsible for training new recruits for their respective ships. This can only mean both Blaze and Polaris aspire to become captains in the near future, and having two aspiring captains arguing before their superior isn't a good sign. Access to station. Blaze activates the new systems and accesses the door opens, allowing you in. You and your crew leave the ship and meet the two lieutenants and their crews inside. There, they are at least a dozen children of the sun in a wrecked station alongside a captain of the Interstellar Republic. If someday you tell this story, probably no one will believe you. Jody Blaze renders a military salute while Polaris stares at you in the distance. Blaze reporting, Captain. We'll look for the records together. Let's split up into 3 groups. Along with your crew, you lead the lieutenants and their men to split up in search of clues. It's the best option, although the condition of the station isn't very promising. Splitting up gives you more room to maneuver. You go deeper and deeper inside, looking for the control room. Along the way, you check every terminal in search of functioning equipment. Anything that can give you a clue. After a while, you finally give up. The explosions had wrecked the whole communication center. Any data which hadn't been sent to headquarters before the attack had been lost forever. Situation report, lieutenants. Use the suit transmitter to speak to your other 2 new men. Jody Blaze says, we haven't found anything, Captain. The terminals are too damaged to access the records. It's just as you feared. Well done, Blaze. There's a short silence during which you realise your mistake. A captain of the Children of the Sun isn't a kind soldier who easily praises his men for their achievements. Thank you, Captain. I'm just doing my job. Unfortunately, the damage from the attack is severe, bad enough to leave us without a clue as to what happened. Polaris, don't be ridiculous. Jaden would never do something like this. You know him as well as I do. He's been acting weird since he was promoted to captain. He and several ships went missing right after the communication center was attacked. Only you can be so blind not to see the connections, Polaris. What are you talking about? Jaden Quartz was one of the last lieutenants to be promoted to captain within Unit 4. Commander Morpher was impressed by his leadership skills and personally recommended him to Emperor Nartos. He became very popular among the unit's soldiers. The last thing we know is that he was posted here to lead the communication center defenses. Since then, we haven't received any reports from him or the other ships that were with him. They might have fallen in combat. Although he had been recently appointed, Quartz was one of the most skilled captains in the unit. It's impossible that 2 captains of the Republic were enough to stop him. It's hard to believe that he and his men deserted, but there's no other explanation. He'd better have a good reason. Lieutenant Blaze is particularly upset. Her tone of voice reflects the rage and anger inside her. On the other hand, Polaris is remaining much calmer. You're about to answer when a voice coming from your transmitter draws your attention. Lieutenant Blaze, Captain Astro, we've got a problem. What is it? The crew member's portrait appears on your helmet HUD. He's talking from Blaze's ship. We're reading Children of the Sun warp signatures in the vicinity. You should get back immediately, Captain. It seems their IDs match the missing ships. Everybody to the ships! It looks like the warp signatures of the Children of the Sun ships have been identified in the area. Have you been followed? Do they know you're after them? Coming back to the crime scene could be reason enough to sentence them as guilty. On your way back, you leave the lieutenants behind, and your crew and you board the ship as fast as you can. And man battle station. Get ready for combat. Here they come.
So I've already been replaced. Hasn't Morpha found anyone better to come after my head?
You must be Captain Quartz, I guess. I was expecting something else, given the trouble you've caused to the commander.
That's a good one. A child of the sun with a sense of humor. I'm glad to see that I haven't been replaced by one of those morons at headquarters.
I'm glad you voluntarily left your hiding place. You've saved us a great deal of work. Quartz? It would have taken us weeks to track down your position. Splendid, Captain. I wouldn't like to waste your time, so I'll be as brief as possible. I'm listening. You'll turn around right now and head for headquarters, allowing my men to leave. You'll report to Commander Morpher on the state of the communication center, and you'll tell him you've lost track of my men. Unfortunately, what he's asking for is impossible. Even letting him go would be too risky. You know for sure that he'll have to bring Quartz's head to Morpher, or it'll be your head he'll ask for. You betrayed us, Quartz. You know as well as I do that Morpho would never accept this. Not only you abandoned your position taking you part of the commander's fleet, but you've also blown up one of his communication centers. Children won't stop until we see you dead, Quartz, no matter how far you run. There's no point in denying our guilt, Captain. I'd like to think you understand my reasons if I explain them to you, but if I managed to convince you, it wouldn't change a thing. I get it. However, a while ago, I would have said much the same thing. And still, Captain, you seem to be a sensible man, so I'll offer you a deal. What the hell's going on? A deal? What kind of deal? I'm willing to turn myself in as long as you let my men get away. I know Morpho won't stop until he finds me. If I can settle this whole matter by turning myself in, I'm ready to die. Think about it, Captain. You hand over the commander to the man who's been looking for so desperately without him having to move a finger. I'm sure he'll generously reward you for that. Did you hear that right? A captain of the Children's Sun just asking you to let his men go away in exchange for his own life? You must be losing your mind. How do I know this is not a trap? It's just a ruse. It has to be. It makes no sense at all. Quartz is willing to sacrifice himself for the rest of the soldiers who came with him. We outnumber you, Captain. It'd be easy for us to take you down if we wanted, although I'd love to see the look on your face when you blow up your ship. I must admit, that would be useless. Sooner or later, Morpho would send more ships after us. I'm tired of fighting, Captain. You may not understand it, but it's all still a really good deal for you. Alright, we'll accept the deal.
That's very noble of you, Quartz. We'll accept your terms. As soon as you set foot on my ship, we'll head to Nova Magna. Your men will suffer no harm. You have my word.
I appreciate that, Captain. It feels good to see there's someone left in the army with some common sense. Get the shuttle ready.
General Quartz, you can't turn yourself in.
Silence! We've already reached an agreement. Let's put an end to this, once and for all.
Whoa!
What are you doing? I said we accepted their surrender!
How dare you, Quartz! You traitor! It's time for you to pay for what you've done!
Blaze, have you lost your mind?
Negotiations are over. Get ready for combat.
How could you do this to us, Quartz? I thought we were friends!
Blaze, pull yourself together, damn it!
Sony? Jules? What are you guys doing here?
We've come for you, Quartz. You really thought you could get away with it and leave me and Polaris behind?
Shad, Holtz, protect the ships. The rest of us, we're pulling back.
General Quartz, we can still fight them.
I said we're pulling back.
No way! We won't allow it to happen!
That's interesting.
Damn it! We lost him again!
It was your fault, Blaze! What the hell was that all about?
We'll talk about all this later. We must first deal with the enemies left.
You got it!
Copy that.
Right. What the hell was that?
Enemy forces taken down, Captain.
Ah, Blaze! Damn it! We could have captured him!
You really think Quartz intended to turn himself in? Oh, don't be foolish.
It wasn't your call, Blaze. If it hadn't been for your reckless move, we could now have Quartz locked up and on the way to Nova Magna. It almost seemed as if you were trying to prevent it.
Are you accusing me of treason, Polaris?
That's enough, Lieutenants. I want to speak to both of you on my ship. Now.
Captain, I
don't want any excuses. We'll discuss the matter as soon as you get on board.
You sit back and wait until the hatch opens and Holloway enters along with both lieutenants. Captain, Lieutenant Blazer, and Lieutenant Polaris are here. You thankfully nod your head. Holloway exits the room, leaving you alone. Polaris gets closer to talk to you, but you make him shush. Sit down. They look at each other and take a seat. You take a deep breath. Lieutenant Jody Blaze, you disobeyed the direct order. Your lack of discipline has made us lose our target. You do realize the seriousness of the matter, don't you? Blades of always looking at you in the eye. It was never my intention, Captain. If I had known he'd run away, I would have never been so reckless. I thought it would be a good chance to take down Captain Quartz. Former Captain Quartz. You silence Polaris with a gesture. Your intentions are the last of my concern, Lieutenant. He's right, sir. I'll dutifully accept any punishment you decide. I'm only asking you to leave my crew out of this. They were just following my orders. Having said this, Blaze draws her gun and puts it on the table. You're beginning to get annoyed. So now every Children of the Sun is really concerned about their own men. You've been dealing with them for years, and it's the first time you've ever seen something like this. Polaris stares at you with his eyes wide open in complete silence. A while ago, he was accusing Blaze of letting Quartz run away on purpose, but the idea of public execution doesn't seem to please him. This would change nothing, Lieutenant. You grab the Lieutenant's gun and give it back to her. Blaze looks at you, still in shock as you continue. I'm not going to execute one of my lieutenants on the first mission in Unit 4, and yet this can't go on. I need the two of you working together as a team. The lieutenants look again at each other as you go on. I don't know what's going on between you two. You belong to the same unit. You don't have to be friends, just be elite soldiers. If you want to become captain someday, you'll have to rise to this occasion. Tell me about Quartz. It's pretty obvious there's something Morpher hasn't told me. You both seem to have a personal relation with Quartz. I need to know what this is all about. Blaze looks aside and remains silent. Polaris replies, the three of us were raised by Commander Morpher, Captain. You really weren't expecting this. So your siblings? We're not blood related. Our parents were different soldiers under Commander Morpher's orders. After their deaths, when we were still newborns, Morpher took us in and raised us with his wife, Mira. Since then, we've been trained by the commander to proudly serve in his unit, as our fathers did once. That's the least we can do for him. You must know how disappointing it's been for the commanders to see Quartz and his men deserting. Quartz was the oldest of us, the most skilled, and of the three of us, the best to eventually replace Morpher as commander. This is what Morpher always wanted for us. Did the commander raise any more children? No, his wife Mira suffered from a rare disease which made her weak and fragile. She would have never survived pregnancy. We've always believed this is the main reason why Morpher took us in. Mira always hated us, and somehow she also hated herself for not being able to give Morpher a blood descendant. You shouldn't talk of her like this. You know it as well as I do, Polaris. I remember the looks that woman gave us. They still give me chills. She did everything she could to make us feel miserable until her very last breath. Alright? But I need you to keep a cool head. Morpher has put you under my command, so that I make you the captains he expects you to become. And that's what I'm going to do. I understand the feelings you have for Quartz, but you've seen it with your own eyes. That man has betrayed the Children of the Sun, has tried to kill us. Our mission is to take him down. You're right, Captain. But we've lost track. How are we going to find Quartz and his men? Maybe we haven't lost them at all. What do you mean, Lieutenant? We've managed to place several trackers on the ships that flew away with Quartz. As long as they don't locate them, we'll be able to track their signal wherever they're hiding. Blaze frowns when she hears this. Maybe it's just an impression, but she doesn't seem pleased at all. Good job, Lieutenant. Get back to your ships. We'll leave immediately. We'll take Quartz and his men by surprise and bring them to Morpher. Both lieutenants render the military salute and leave. Things are getting out of hand. You don't like having to finish with the soldiers who are facing the rest of Nartos' troop, but there's no other choice. If you wish to earn the commander's trust, you'll have to obey his orders, and even if Quartz seems likable, one good deed can't erase a whole life of crime. Whether you like it or not, Jaden Quartz has been all and will always be a captain of the Children of the Sun. May the sun light your way.
Captain Astra, the signals from the transmitters are reaching us from different locations in the neighboring sectors. I've ordered the communications team to forward you the signal.
Copy that, Lieutenant Polaris. We'll follow the traces until we find Quartz and his men. May, triangulate position of the enemy ships and set the course.
Tracker's signals come from different sectors, Captain. Quartz seems to have scattered his troops.
May, mark the targets on the star map.
Aye, Captain.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to end this series of Between the Stars. In order to not completely and utterly spoil the story for you guys that would like to play this game. So I hope you've enjoyed this very, very long final episode of Between the Stars from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here by the end, by the way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the game, what you think about the series as well. Are you going to get it? Are you going to pick it up, play it yourself? I'd really like to hear from you either way. And once again, thanks for watching. And hopefully, I'll see you soon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.